Oh yeah. Oh, well, fun. Man, me and the me and the boys are like we're gelling. Me and Brian and JR. I mean, Brian and I've been doing a lot of shows together. I'm like zero humility about it. I'm like so proud of this relationship. I'm so proud of this relationship I have with him. It's just cultivating it, moving it along, learning to work together. Same with the Caleb's. It sucks that I hope I can figure this thing out. I hope that like somewhere like just a shitload of money lands on us and I can figure this thing out, because me and Caleb were starting to really cruise too. I haven't noticed just with him on the show yesterday already. The show's better. Caleb just knows when to pull shit up. He's paying attention. I hate it when I have to be like, oh, hey, we need to put, I shouldn't say I hate it. I don't mind, but I prefer. Yeah, that's much better, much more genuine. I prefer that I don't have to be like, hey, can you pull up a map? Can you do this? We're talking about the leaderboard and it's in the wrong spot. And the person running the back end has to really pay attention to that. And or if I say something and Caleb looks up a word, it's I don't realize. It's not that I didn't realize how important it was to the show. I really did, but when it's gone, it really hits home. Just hits me like a truck. Stephen Flores, good morning. I imagine Sevi opening up the show with the thong song and Audrey shaking it. Totally fair. Let your imagination run wild. Do you think there are any wise politicians? Do you think everyone wants to have wisdom? Do you think people want to be wise? Do you think that there's this there's these I guess there's a different there's a distinction between the definition of wise. Why all of a sudden Twitch? Why all of a sudden Twitch? Hi, good morning, wet mouth sounds. There's a difference in the definition of wise versus the characteristics. Wow, Audrey has a slamming body. Yeah, it's safe to say that she's stuck on an island somewhere. What ocean is that out there by Australia? Is that the Indian Ocean? What are they surrounded by down there? Why do they call it down there? Why can't it be up there? Is it really down? Do we have a down? There's a difference between the definition of wise and the characteristics of being wise. Much easier to talk about the characteristics of being wise. I had characteristics of being wise from a very, 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 very young age. There's a practicality to being wise. A lot of smart people don't want to be wise because it appears you're stupid. Because there is there's an admittance, the entryway into being wise is to that you don't know anything. You can't believe anything. Just to get to, you see the gate of wisdom, and then to walk in, you have to not know anything. And you are not doing that if you have pride. You are not taking it there. When I was young, if I was riding my bike, even to this day, but one of the characteristics of my of that I had of humility or wisdom was I would be the kind of person who would be, if I was riding a bike and I were to crash, 9 out of 10 people wouldn't have wanted anyone to see. A matter of fact, I can't think of anyone who wanted to see, who would want their crash to be witnessed. But not me. I thought it was a waste. If I crashed on my bike and no one saw it, I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. Like, wow, that happened and no one got to enjoy that. Yeah, I was trying to figure out I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one wise. I'm trying to think of if I've seen anything wise come out of a politician's mouth. Hmm. I see people do things all the time on the internet or on Instagram that doesn't appear to be wise. All the time. It's weird. It's almost it's embarrassing. I don't get it why people aren't embarrassed. If there's only one thing to be embarrassed about, I would feel like it's to do things that aren't wise. Characteristics of wisdom are much easier to point at than to define it. There was this one when I think of wise, this is just my memory of it. I'm sure someone will slap me around in the comments, but I guess Jesus told the homies, told the apostles, hey, when they come to persecute you, don't prepare your defense. Let the wisdom of God speak through you. There's that's kind of that's one I think that's one of the characteristics of being wise. You stay in the present. You don't argue with reality. The preparation is about often is just about being present. You know, um, another characteristic of wise is not to put distance between you and something, not to look at the sunset and to fall out of your mouth, boy, that's beautiful, or to look at a flower and be like, boy, that's beautiful. And now all of a sudden you have distance between you and the object. That's a tough one for people to accept. But they can't accept it because there's no wisdom there. There's no they haven't even grasped that experience yet. You could another characteristic of wisdom is that that you have an incredible sense of humor. An incredible sense of humor. But people who have incredible sense of humor aren't wise. That it doesn't work that way. Wisdom does not always show up from someone in a suit with brilliant talking points. I've never seen wisdom. I tell me one time you've seen wisdom from someone in a suit. I've never seen that. I've never ever seen that. Outlaw hate speech. Pedophilia is bad. None of that is wisdom. There's no wisdom there. That's standing up against evil so evil gets bigger. That's not wisdom. That is there's no wisdom. That's not the wisdom I'm talking about. Philip Kelly, Jordan Peterson wears a suit all the time. Very good point. Wash your penis. The act of washing your penis might portray. I don't know if that's wisdom. I appreciate the attempt. That is not wisdom. No, and once again, there you go. Childlike, but not wise. But a wise person is childlike. So another great example. Definitely not wise. People who say stuff like this, it was embarrassing. Wise people are that is words like bored and embarrassing signify definitely not wise. Doesn't mean, I mean, you don't know, the person could be acting. They still could be wise. But this is like douche chills when Greg would be giving a lecture with his hat on backwards. This is the famous saying that's used wrong so many times. I can't believe how many times the saying is wrong. But this is, I'm pointing at the moon and you're staring at my hand, meaning he's looking at Greg while the message is coming out. You're being distracted. You're looking at the wrong thing. bizarre to me. That you got to, whatever that is, you should drop that. You'll never be wise with that. It will never ever. That's a shaving your back on your bed, not wise. That's just, I don't know that maybe. Sevon, don't fall for the troll. How can I stand for the troll? They're great examples though. This wisdom thing. Another characteristic of wise people is they always have space. They always can create space between themselves and thoughts. They can create space between themselves and thoughts. And when they don't, and they're reacting, it's almost like they're having an out-of-body experience. It's like they become the watcher, the observer. I thought the show yesterday morning was out of control. I was so happy with it. My wife did tell me that there were a lot of F-bombs in it. She said, wow, you went from trying not to say it to just off the deep end. The wise people are not willing to follow the crowd. I don't know. I don't know if that's a characteristic. Is that? I don't know. I don't know if that's a characteristic. I don't think that's a so much potty mouth yesterday. It was. It's I don't I don't even notice. I didn't even. A wise person does not argue with reality. I'll tell you that. Does not argue with reality. That is a very, very, very strong characteristic. A wise person does not argue with reality. And as you get wiser and you start seeing yourself do that, it's amazing. And that's where the funny shit comes in. That's where life starts to get really funny. That's the horse story. Remember the horse story we showed yesterday? And all I was wondering if that guy's banged that chick. The wise person does not get swept away and angry when they walk out to their car and the battery is not working and they can't get to their next appointment, which is where they were supposed to get their job, where they were supposed to make money to put food on their plate for their kids. They may see some anger, they may experience some anger, but they do not get angry. That is not how the world works for them. Wise people are happy because they don't argue with reality. Wise people can take. The wise people are on the search for wisdom. You tell an old person, hey, you're getting too old. You probably shouldn't drive. You don't see so good at night. And they get upset. Not wise. Not wise. At all. You see someone not enjoying getting old, not wise. Why would you not want to be wise? It's where happiness and fun, it's where they reside. It's easy to fake being wise sometimes, especially if you have a lot of money. As you cultivate wise people usually want to be alone. When you taste a wisdom, you know that it's your reaction to other people that pulls you from it. There's no lick marks on the penis. This room does get warm though in the summer. It can, and I left it. I'm wondering if it's gonna melt. It's just back there. You see it? There it is. There's a picture of my wife. You could barely see that. It got pushed over for the chocolate dong. I wonder why they didn't use white chocolate. I wonder if you could have got that in white chocolate. It's so easy. You know where I see the least amount of wisdom from myself is when I want to comment on Instagram or on YouTube, or when I want to respond to things. Why wise people don't respond to things in their head and then say them out loud. That's not a characteristic of someone who's wise. You want to see an example of that? I'll show you. I got a good one here. It's funny too. Let me see if I can find it here. This isn't wise people do not do this, but this is the vast majority of people. This is what goes on social media. This is, and unfortunately, this is a problem with. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, here it is. 525. Someone, I'll give you one quick example, and then I'm going to show you this one extended. That's a funny. Someone cuts you off, and you flip them. Someone cuts you off, and you get angry, and then you react to that anger, and then you flip them off, because inherently, what they did cutting you off is nothing bad. But if you're not wise, it all happens so fast that you react to yourself, and now you're psycho. You're talking to yourself. You're talking to yourself. Someone cuts you off, you flip them off, and now you're talking to yourself. You guys get that? Because you reacted to something, and then you are then having a physical response to that reaction. You're now talking to yourself. Go to that post that Elizabeth Okunwale made. It is a shit show of examples of craziness. People reacting to themselves. What's crazy too is when you react to yourself, and then the outcome is to blame someone else for your reaction. You're now flipping them off because of your reaction. You're now blaming them. You're blaming someone that you don't feel comfortable in a gym. So you had a reaction when you went into a gym, and then instead of taking responsibility for it, you're now blaming them based on your reaction. It's like your voice inside of you being like, you're a bitch. And then you look at someone and be like, what'd you say? What the fuck did you say? I mean, like, come on. It's crazy town banana pants. Wise is when past experience and current knowledge intertwine. Stephen Flores. I'm not really on my my hand isn't doing what my brain wants it to do right now. You could have a hand and brain that are totally disconnected and be the wisest man on earth, by the way. Spiegel, yes, I've been out spreading my love and compassion. Yeah, wisdom has a huge compassion piece for yourself. Don't worry about others. Huge compassion piece for yourself. Do you ever look in the mirror and hate yourself? No, I cannot say that that's ever happened. When I look in the mirror, it's like, should I put goo in my hair? Because Heidi, whenever I put goo in my hair, Heidi's like, he looks hot, or no goo? That is the question. Okay, so here it is. This is being trapped in your head. Here we go.
Can I get you a drink?
Wow, I've never heard that one before. You really blow me away with your creativity.
Well,
Your recovery's even better. Do you even care at all who I am? I mean, I could be the Antichrist or have the intelligence of a thermos, but unfortunately, those are not the matters the male penis ponders. So please, tell me, why'd you walk all the way over here to ask to get me a drink?
Well, because I'm the bartender. Hi, can I get you a drink?
He's the bartender. That's funny, right? And who is that? Man, they made her look good. What do you think about this guy's hair?
Wow, I've never heard that one before. You really blow me away with.
She's got small features, right? That's a tiny head. Don't get me wrong. Someone with a tiny head can be hot. I don't want anyone getting it like twisted. That's the other thing. They can't see. Wise people don't do that either. That's a component of wisdom. If I were to say, and you see people react like that all the time. Man, big heads are hot. Then people think small heads are unattractive. Or if I'm like a woman's place is in the home, people who aren't wise would be like, does that mean a man's place is not in the home? No, no one said that. Man's place can be in the home too. Like there is they just live in a world where it's either this or that. No relativity, no context. It's just dumb world. And I get it. Everyone's guilty of that on a practicality, from a practicality point. Like, Haley, where's my wallet? Oh, it's on the counter that's up high. Okay. And now I have to assume it's the one that's up high and I know it's up there. I'm not like, well, that's relative to low. It's not like that. But if you can create space, I don't know if those are big boobs, Philip, but you create space. That just might be a special bra. But you create space and you see things for what they are.
Your creativity.
Where were we? Oh, his hair. What about that hair? It's like they didn't even try. It's just like, hey, there you go. Just some hair. He's like stuck between long and short. Is that the name of the movie? Heartbreakers? Oh shit. Am I in trouble for playing that? This is a phrase I don't use. What's the point? This is a phrase I don't use. So this chick's trapped in her head because he comes over there and she thinks she knows what's going on. That's 99% of social media. And then when people respond to other things, they're really responding to something in their head, people just drift further and further apart, and the conversation just gets further and further away. It is the source of all relationship issues. Sevi has so many pet peeves. What's a pet peeve like? I don't know. Tell me what a pet peeve is. Oh, I know. I don't like sticky stuff on counters. I do not like sticky stuff on counters. It's definitely a pet peeve. Oi. Slow motion today. How about yesterday? Didn't you guys watch the show last night? At the end, Zach and his roommate came on, Chris. I knew if I brought them on that Brian would leave. That's not why I brought them on. Back to Vax talk. If the world went full Sevon and didn't vax their kids, where would humanity be in 50 years? Almost eradicated diseases would be rampant. Isn't that why doctors push vax at birth? Yay or nay? Love you either way. Almost eradicated diseases. You probably don't know this 12 daily doses of stuff, but did you know? I know you're going to read into this. Watch this. Did you know that the reason why all of those things like polio are still alive today is because of the vaccine? You know that they're kept alive by the vaccine, right? No one on either side of the argument is debating that. The polio vaccine is what keeps polio around. You know that, right? You know in 1952 that polio plummeted before the vaccine came out in 1955. You must know that, by the way, thank you for the money. You must know that the vaccine was recalled immediately. The one that Salk invented was recalled because it was killing kids and it caused polio cases to skyrocket. You must know that. Back to pesticide spray. What if the world went full Sevon and people didn't spray arsenic and lead on fruits and vegetables? Where would the humanity be in 50 years? How would pharma survive without sugar? Isn't that why? At least you used the word right. Isn't that why doctors? No, doctors push vax at birth because they believe probably some of the shit that you believe, because you would rather spend. You're not willing to spend 30 minutes. I'm guessing. Unless you're just teeing me up and throwing me alley oops, because you would rather do other things than spend 30 minutes looking up the numbers, the simple numbers, and start with maybe polio and measles. Alyssa Royce, wise? No. Not wise. And thank you for the money. I can't tell you. That's a nice donation. You too, Philip. Thank you. Alyssa Royce is not wise. Philip, I can't believe you're up so early. 6:26 in the morning. You just wanted to hear the thong song. 12 daily doses. How many COVID shots did you get? Curious where you're at. Maybe you got some boosters? Oh my goodness. Read about the tetanus shot. That one's crazy. That one is look at the numbers for tetanus, for deaths and injuries from the vaccine versus deaths and injuries from actual tetanus in the United States. You know why they still have polio in countries like India? Do you know why? Have you looked that up? Doses? Because they still use fucking DDT on everything. Doses. I want you to scour the web and show me 10 people healthy people who died from COVID. Oh, it's too hard. 5. Show me 5. Because I know 2 of the people you're going to grab right away. So show me 5. And then show me 1,000 people. No. And then show me you can find 1,000 people who died from the COVID injection before you can find 5 healthy people who died from COVID. I know that doesn't prove anything. I know it's just a correlate. There's no proof that cigarette smoke kills anyone either. There's just really strong correlates. Crazy, right? This Alyssa Royce lady, she was at a gym called like Rocket CrossFit or something. I can't remember. And when I worked at CrossFit Inc., and it's the one that their I actually think one of her lovers owned it or something, because I think she was into some weird sex shit. I don't know if it's weird, but just not traditional sex shit, man woman shit. I think I remember someone telling me that she was into like polygamy or something. I can't remember the details. But and she liked to write about it and talk about it. And so she was friends with a guy who worked at CrossFit, one of the executives there. And I met her at a CrossFit gym or at a party after Greg spoke at a CrossFit gym in Seattle or Portland, one of the woke cities. And she had all the signs of, mental illness, like the weird shit they do with their hair and the way they dress, and just all those signifiers that show, you know what I mean? Just like a gang member would have MS-13 or something tattooed and a teardrop. She had that kind of stuff, but for mental illness. Spoke too loud, stood too close to you when she talked. Total know-it-all. And I was told that, and I know those are just subjective, my opinions, but I was told that I had to hire her to work and write an article for CrossFit. And I was like, okay. And I didn't want to do it, but I spoke to the editor-in-chief, Mike Workington, over at CrossFit Inc. And as I recall, we paid her some money to write a piece, and she never turned it in. Then some time went by, and the new CEO, who's a total fucking douchebag, I guess in a conversation with her, he may have said to her, "You're the moral compass of CrossFit," or something. And we were forced to hire her again to write something, which I'm pretty sure she never turned in. Someone would have to go look, but as I remember. And typical buddy thing, right? You hire someone. No, not Rosa. The guy before Rosa. The guy, I don't ever say the guy's name, but he is a piece of shit. He's the guy who fired the entire media team. This guy came in and fucking destroyed CrossFit. Heading into CrossFit now, got another $5 if you're still on when I get out. Okay, I'll do anything for $5. So, do you know about this person, Trish? Anyway, when Greg did Floyd 19, this person was like so hungry to be in the inner circle. This is one of those gyms that says everyone is welcome and it's covered in rainbow shit. And then it's got a whole list of reasons why you can't come in. The irony is just crazy. And then you find out she doesn't even own the gym. It's her boyfriend. And I wish I could remember the sex shit she was interested in. But whatever, the people when you just, like I went to Home Depot yesterday and I'm trying to pay for shit at the checkout and I'm there with my 3 boys and the lady there who worked there is touching me and standing way too close to me. And I'm just like, oh, this person's drunk. Like, I just know, like, oh, this employee is drunk. Like, no one touches me. No one ever, my wife barely touches me. I have to climb on top of her. But this lady's like touching me, and it's like at Home Depot yesterday. And I'm like, and even my son said, is that lady okay? I'm like, yeah, I think she'd been boozing at the job. It didn't bother me. I didn't care. But yeah, I think she was drinking. Touching me at Home Depot. God, I'm telling you guys, I live a charmed fucking life. Random 60-year-old woman touching me at Home Depot. Like affectionately touching me. Greg hired him. He was a friend of mine. He had a fucked up life too. His family life was so fucked up. I don't even want to talk about it because it would be fucking mean. But all the crazy woke shit you could ever imagine happened in this guy's home life. All that shit. The kids and the wives. He cheated on his wife. If you don't know that story, I should tell that story every year, just about how crazy it is. Polio is active pretty much only in Pakistan and Afghanistan, guessing that they aren't doing vaccinations in those really well-developed countries. But yeah, it's DDT that's causing it. Don't talk to me. Go read a book. Don't talk to me. Jackass. I'm reading into this. You're being facetious, but yeah, it's DDT causing it. You think that someone died from COVID too, don't you? 12 daily doses of stuff. You give no responsibility to the lifestyle choices. You think someone gets hit by a train and you blame the shoes, right? You're like, the shoes did it. If they didn't have shoes, they wouldn't have walked out in front of that train. Is this true? Which part? Yeah, this is all the list of, and so anyway, let me get to the part. So then something happened. The Floyd 19 thing happened, and Alyssa Royce wrote something basically that said, Greg, you're a racist piece of shit. And Greg wrote back, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you and your dumb shit. You mentally ill fucking moron. Something like that. And then she released that, and then that caused even more people to get upset. But hey, if someone calls you racist, I think it's fun to yell back at them that you're a fucking moron who's high on yourself. You don't even know what racism is. I've never called you racist. Anyway, so that was that. No, asthma is caused by vaccines. Asthma is it is a lifestyle choice. Yes, it is it's caused by lifestyle choices. Wow, you're not a personal accountability, personal responsibility person. That's where the disconnect is. I got it. Of course, CrossFit's always been inclusive to the gay community. I know, it's crazy. Always. And dude, all the parts where it's not inclusive to that, those are just people. There's just people here. To think that HQ, there's never been a place that's more, I can't imagine someone who's more accepting really than Greg. You should have seen the fucking executives in the company. Spiegel, it started unintentionally when I picked a wee bit of a fight with CrossFit for the policy banning trans athletes from competition. That's maybe that's kind of a that's a little bit out of context. 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 You blame everything on vaccines, not true. Amazing. What's amazing? That you lie? Weird that asthma was a thing in the 1700s too. And why was it? Dude, people got their fingers cut off before there were fucking circular saws. But circular saws also cut off people's fingers. Like what? Why? Go. Shoe fly. She likes to post her positive COVID test on IG and assure everyone she has her N95 on at all time. I haven't seen that, but I'm sure. You guys remember that? You guys remember that guy that Biden appointed to take care of what was it? He was supposed to take care of like nuclear waste. The bald guy. This is why I need Caleb here. Caleb would pull that thing up. Do you remember? And he was stealing luggage at airports. I wonder if I just Google stealing luggage, stealing airport luggage. You think this guy's his picture pops up. Stealing airport luggage, and it's this guy is the very first thing that pops up. Amazing. Sam Brinton. Wow. Okay. He's a Department of Energy official accused of stealing luggage from 2 airports. He's no longer employed by the department. I want to find his exact. I think he's no longer with the DOE, Department of Energy employee. I think he had a pretty senior position there. Brighton is a nuclear engineer, was serving as Deputy Assistant Secretary at the Department of Energy. You guys remember this guy? You guys remember this guy? Right here. Sam Brighton. And he was serving as the Assistant Secretary at the Department of Energy. You guys remember that? I want to show you this guy. This is Biden's pick to run the FAA. Let's watch his interview process here. Let's watch this. Here we go.
You quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a pretty important part. So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
Okay. So what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med?
Senator, I'm not a pilot, so.
But obviously you'd oversee the Federal Aviation Administration. So any idea what those restrictions are under basic med, quickly?
Well, some of the restrictions I think would be high blood pressure. Some of them would be.
It's more like how many passengers per airplane, how many pounds in different categories, and what altitude you can fly under. So, and then amount of knots. It's under 250 knots. So it's not having anything to do with blood pressure. So, Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a.
So this is Biden's pick to run the FAA. I wonder how recent this is. This is the last time I'm going to do this for you, and then you got to kind of like you got to do your own thing. You just says vaccines cause asthma. Then I threw 1970 or 1700s asthma at you. Now it's goalpost move to circular saws. No. Okay, so I'm going to explain it to you one time and then we're going to move on. You got to fucking keep up, dude. You got to keep up. It was a simile or a metaphor. You're suggesting that if I say that vaccines contribute or cause asthma, that it's the only cause. It's like if I pointed to a door at my house and I said that goes into the kitchen, and then I pointed to another door and I said that door also goes into my kitchen, but you can't process that there's 2 doors into my kitchen. I can't help you with that. I can't fucking help you with that. You know, if something like walks behind a tree, it doesn't disappear. You're a fucking human. You have to assume that it walked behind the tree in order to navigate planet Earth. It can't be just like, voila, it's gone. You have to bring some other skills to the conversation. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. I can't make it. I'm not going backwards for you anymore. That's it. Last time. Girls are pretty. Oh, girls can be ugly too. You know that? No, being born killed people. Don't, you just sit still. Just sit still. You say nonsense. You're a confused child. Stay still. Just listen while the adults dig through some stuff and have fun and party. Go eat your trick or treat candy. Here we go. Energy guy. Oh wait. And you know, now I have another reason. I'm just going to throw that on the list of reasons I don't fly. Oh, this one's great too. My goodness. I like it when CNN has like cool people on who'd like talk straight talk. This guy, Kevin O'Leary, I guess he's from the show Shark Tank, is explaining why you don't, I think I've played this before, why you don't open businesses in New York or California or New Jersey.
Companies here in New York anymore, or in Massachusetts, or in New Jersey, or in California. Those states are uninvestable. The policy here is insane. The taxes are too high.
Yeah,
That's it. Uninvestable.
Some pushback from our elected officials in New York on that.
I was just going to say Kathy Hochul.
Yeah, but
I'll debate them any time of the day you want.
we would love to set that up.
Particularly
I'd watch
AOC.
that.
She's great at killing jobs. She kills jobs by the thousands. You know, another New Jersey problem. Where did Amazon take their jobs? They took them away from her. She threatened to sue them if they created jobs. I mean, this is a reality. This is a reality that the business.
There's a little more to it, but let's not relitigate that.
You know, sorry.
So this guy's dropping facts, and instead of them responding with facts, they say stuff like there's a little more to that, or there's politicians that would disagree with you. So what? That doesn't even mean anything.
Just telling the truth.
He's saying what a lot of people are saying, especially what happened with that Amazon thing here in New York.
This must be old, because Don Lemon's gone for the full gay affect now. He wears like he's changed his apparel and his glasses, and he's got something like. Don't shoot the messenger. Someone needs to speak up about this. I wonder if they keep inviting people like that on, or if they're like, oh shit. Oh shit. Holding his cock. O'Leary went on tour slamming Silicon Valley Bank for dummy management, had tons of money in Silicon Valley Bank. Is that prior to the collapse of it? Dude, my coffee's so strong, Kenneth. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy strong. Let's see what this is. This one doesn't even have a title. 5:30. Oh, that was that one. Okay. All those people got their money back, right? All the people who invested, who had money being held in that bank. And now a word from Dr. Fauci.
Scientists are beginning to believe that a vaccine against AIDS may be impossible to make and too dangerous to test.
If you take it and then a year goes by and everybody's fine, then you say, okay, that's good. Now let's give it to 500 people. And then a year goes by and everything's fine. I say, well, then now let's give it to thousands of people. And then you find out that it takes 12 years for all hell to break loose. And then what have you done?
Many scientists are beginning to believe that a vaccine against AIDS may be impossible to make.
I guess
and
this
too
doesn't
dangerous
matter
to test.
anymore.
If you take it and then a year goes by and everybody's fine, then you say, okay, that's good. Now let's give it to 500 people. And then a year goes by and everything's fine. I say, well, then now let's give it to thousands of people. And then you find out that it takes 12 years.
Dr. Fauci. Holy shit. Holy shit. Crazy. You missed it. You missed the end. Who? Fauci? Is Fauci getting butt fucked? Man, oh man. Maybe. Maybe Fauci is. Weird how AIDS comes and goes in cycles. Oh, Nelly. Oh, Nelly. God, I wish I was more fired up for this. This is the kind of shit that makes people hate conservatives. And I don't blame them. I do not blame them. Look at this. Florida imitates The Simpsons as school principal resigns on parent complaint that David statue is too pornographic for the 6th grade. You guys aren't going to like me for this, but I bet you these are fucking hardcore Christians. They're upset about the David statue. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has gotten very involved with the high school education. Oh, that's just a shot at him. A Florida charter school principal has been forced to resign after a parent complained 6th graders were exposed to pornography during a lesson on Renaissance art that included Michelangelo's David sculpture. God, please tell me that there's more to this. And that's the thing. That's why it's just like a back and forth between dummies who take shit too far. This is a private Christian school, Mike McCaskey says. I don't think calling the David statue pornography, I don't know what their exact words is, but it's definitely not pornography. I don't think a rock that's chiseled. I don't think this is pornography. This chocolate penis is not pornography. This is not. This is just a chocolate. This is just chocolate. It's nuts. I don't think you should be keeping your kid from learning. It's the same. It's the same thing when public schools don't allow you to teach the Bible. Like you should for sure some point in your public school have to read some of the Bible and someone talk to you about it. Someone, what about the Quran? Like, fine, that too. I'm not like, shut the fuck up, whatever you want. Just an example. The David statue's nudity has been a part of centuries-old debate about art pushing boundaries. In the 1500s, metal fig leaves covered the genitals of the statues like David when the Roman Catholic Church deemed nudity as immodest and obscene. I don't know. Is that the slippery slope? First, we take a rock, we carve it up into look like a naked man, and now it's a slippery slope to Pornhub. Casavion, it's a private Christian school, and usually they would send a permission slip home to get approval, and they didn't this time. What do you think? Can you show David without a permission slip? You know, there's an interesting thing. I had a public access show many years ago. I apologize for those of you who heard the story. I had a public access show many years ago. For those of you who probably don't even know what public access is, each area had to have like each cable network had to give a certain amount of stations for the local people to publish their content on. So this was in like, I'm going to make this up, 2000. And so Santa Barbara had a public access station. It's like always some weird, like obscure station, right? Like channel 19. And you could go down there and you would give them a tape, and then they would give you a time, or you would ask for a time, and then they would play it on the air. And basically with public access, there's no copyright rules, there's no laws, there's anything. You could show anything. And it's where all the fucking wingnuts had their shows. You got me? Like there would be someone there who like all they did was talk about Poison Oak, and they were also naked. So they were a nudist, and they did a 1-hour show with a microphone where all they did is talk about Poison Oak, right? And it was just all the weirdest conversations. Like another guy would be like have a cardboard fetish, and all he would talk about for a half hour is different kinds of cardboard. And it was just weird, super low rent, low budget shit. Anyway, I had this show on there, and it was called IVTV. And one time we were interviewing a guy in Isla Vista, California. It's a college town, big party town. And we were interviewing these two guys, and they were leaned up against a chain link fence, and they had their penises pushed through the fence while I was interviewing them. Like their cock and balls and penis were hanging through one of the holes in the chain link fence. And they said they weren't going to show it. And we went back and forth, and the local newspaper, Santa Barbara News Press, got involved, and then the LA Times got involved. And then eventually they told us that they would air it, but it took a long time to get it passed through. And the reason why they said they'd air it was because the penis was flaccid. But if the penis had been erect, they wouldn't air it. So that was the determining factor. So you were asking whether it's penetration that makes it pornography. That for these people, it was Sevon made a glory hole. I never even thought of that thing as a glory hole. Just a chain link fence with two drunk college guys leaning up against it. But anyway, that was the determining factor, not whether it was pornographic, but they had these two words, obscene and I forget what the other one was. But we fell into a did they let us do it? And we showed penises, all the time, and boobs, and it was just a college town with just people doing crazy shit, right? IVTV. I've put some of the episodes up on YouTube somewhere. And what was cool is you could play any music you wanted. Anything went. There were no rules. And that's the thing. I saw that article about banning David, and that's the thing. That's like liberals do cool shit, pesto on the pizzas. They have theater groups and statues of naked men. There's just cool shit that liberals do. And the conservatives just take it too fucking far and want to push all that shit out. And it's like, no, pesto's cool. The theater is cool. What if, never mind. The other day on the show, I was talking about how at least Tia didn't do a rope climb. Because that I definitely wouldn't approve of a rope climb while pregnant. Well, here you go. And you know what? I kind of eat those words when I see her do it. I start thinking, how many people have fallen off a rope? Now you got to ask yourself, well, is it worth the risk? I don't know. Once again, I thought Andrew did a great piece on that. Like, we just have no idea what it's like to be her. I wish she wouldn't wear a shirt that covered her stomach so we could see that shit. There she is on the rope. Dang. What a specimen. It's kind of one of the coolest things to be a part of this community right now. That we can, that we get to watch her go through that. And that she shares like videos of her moving and shit. Cool. I think it's, you go to the zoo and you want to go, the people have their favorite animals there. They want to go look at shit like the giraffes. But really, it's hard to beat. It's fucking hard to beat watching Tia, pregnant woman like Tia. I mean, any pregnant woman's kind of fun to watch, but Tia's just on a whole nother level. It's like kind of one of the best things that I've ever seen to move and watch, move around. Can this be true? Could this be true? Philadelphia. If you haven't been to Philadelphia, it is a shithole. In the words of our former president, it is a complete and utter shithole. I haven't been there in 10 years, but I've been there 3 or 4 times, and I've never had even a remotely good experience there. It is some mean fucking people, and it is a dirty town, and it feels unsafe as shit. And I come from some pretty scary places in the Bay Area. Philadelphia will pay women to get pregnant. Expectant mothers will be entitled to $1,000 a month with no strings attached amid falling fertility rates and rising baby deaths. I wonder if that's kind of not worded right. Expectant mothers will be entitled to, will pay women. Is that fair to say that we're paying you to get pregnant? Is that different than saying we'll pay you if you are pregnant? But basically, once you make it past the 3rd month of your pregnancy, they give you $1,000 a month until the kid's a year old. Pregnant women in Philadelphia will be paid $1,000 a month as part of a trial program, hoping to lower infant mortality rates in the city. Well, that's impossible. There won't be a connection there. You're not going to give $1,000 a month to women and lower infant mortality rates. That's not going to work. Money doesn't save people's lives like that. Starting next year, 250 expectant mothers will receive the no strings attached payments from their 3rd month of pregnancy. So what they're going to do is it's going to be some dumb shit like this. Listen to this very carefully. This is absolute versus relative statistics. This is how this shit works. They're going to give $1,000 a month to these 250 women. And they're going to be like, we have a control group that we didn't give $1,000 a month to. And in that group that didn't get the $1,000 a month, one of the babies is going to die. Let's say for sake of math, let's say 2 of the babies die. So in the group that did not get $1,000 a month, 2 babies are going to die. In the group that did get $1,000 a month, only 1 baby's going to die. And then they're going to say this program was a success because it had a 100% success rate. They're going to say it doubled the chances of a baby surviving because they're going to compare that 1 to the 2. And then they're going to spread that shit all over the country, and fucking dipshits like 12 doses are going to believe it. What's so sad about what 12 doses does on here says this stuff like vaccines save millions of people's lives. And Sevon talks about how you shouldn't take vaccines, blah, blah, blah. Done zero research. The numbers are just, any of you guys can go look. I've showed you guys the numbers tons of times. But what's crazy is just think of all the people who got hurt because of that crazy rhetoric. So many fucking people. So many fucking people. So many kids. Because people just spewing the fucking the fucking brain dead zombie Matrix line. Like, hey, don't take my word for it. Sure as fuck don't take that person's, whoever that is. Just go read the book, The Moth and the Iron Lung, and then go to Google and just do the research yourself. Find out if this guy's telling the truth. Just look at the graph from when the vaccine came out to when cases started plummeting. You can't possibly give the vaccine any credit. It's fucking crazy. But no one will take the time to just go do that. I'll give you one. No, I won't give you one. Why don't you go to the VAERS report? 12 daily doses. Why do I have to do it for you? Trish, Sevon, and why would you be so certain? Why are you spreading these lies and hurting people? That's what I want to know. Why don't you just go look? What if some people here listening to the show actually believe you and some kids get hurt? You don't give a fuck for some reason. It's a trip. Sevon, last night I went to a bar and I'd forgotten my ID. The owner was apologetic that he couldn't serve me. It would put his license at risk. He offered to buy me a beer when I come in the next time. Damn. Really? Couldn't you just pulled out a handful of gray pubes? Couldn't you just pulled out a handful of gray pubes? Man, oh man. 12 daily doses. Why don't you give me a list of people who did die from polio? Oh yeah, because you can't. Why don't you give me a list of books you've read that prove that that what you're saying is true? Oh, I forgot you were indoctrinated by your school and you actually never looked anything up yourself. I already know. I know. I think so too, but I think so too. Why are you assuming hers are gray? She's 67 or some shit, right? Sevon, move on, dude. Dan Guerrero, this is the cringe, creepy Sevon we all know exists. Didn't get enough sleep. Barrett KCS.43. Trish is a lady. She shaves. 67. Yes. Is that what I said? 67? Dan, I urge you, please, to move on. Do not hang out with my creepiness. Just move on. Just move on, buddy. Can you imagine taking the time? Look at that beautiful child you have, and you have a boat. Go live your life. Go live your life. Go have fun. Don't hang out here. Don't hang out here. What do you think? Should Philadelphia be paying people to have kids? Crazy. That's hard having kids. That should be something you do that's a passion project. You should have kids because you really want to have kids, because you're in love with someone, because you want to make a love baby. Jessica Valenzuela, I agree with Spiegel. Caller, hi.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey, third morning in a row at 6 a.m. I wonder if this is going to be the new time.
Please make it be that time. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, so it works perfectly for me.
The reason why I keep doing it, Gabe, right?
Yep.
Hi, Paper Street Coffee. The reason why I kind of don't want to go back. I'm just like, oh shit, I'm starting to get used to getting up at this early.
Hey, it works for me. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Being selfish as fuck. No, but I'm calling because it's fucking been on my mind for a little bit. And you brought it up speaking about Philadelphia. So like, obviously how people, raise their kids and whatever, that's completely on them. But, so I was at the Philadelphia Eagles NFC Championship game. So that's the game that they have to play to get to the Super Bowl. They won. Obviously the whole town is celebrating. And, it's like everyone in Philadelphia is out on the street. So fireworks, et cetera, people obviously drinking. I hear a slap, like the loudest, hardest slap I've ever heard in my life. I turn around. It's this guy, this grown adult, I'm assuming the kid's father, slapped this 8-year-old kid. The hardest I've ever heard a slap. Like the hardest. Italian, white guy with obviously his kid. And in that position, I was like, holy fuck. I was about to act. Like, I was literally, as soon as I heard that, I saw the kid, it was like a split second. I was about to go up to this guy and just beat the shit out of him, because it was one of those things where the kid dropped to the ground. Like, it was like, even remembering it right now, it's just so frustrating that I didn't do anything. And the reason why I didn't do anything is because obviously, like, I was out there with most of my group were females. He had a bunch of friends, and I'm like, well, one of two things are going to happen. I have to make sure that, one, I don't get my ass kicked and get jumped, or like, do I stand up or do I say something, because it's not my
crazy
place,
shit
it's
happens
not
at
my
football games, right? Crazy shit happens at football games, like crazy fights.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it hurts, because obviously as a human being, you never want to see that. You never want to see a kid getting slapped as hard as an adult, and the kid just dropped to the ground, and you're like, well, is this kind of what's happening in this kid's life? Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's funny how, obviously, you know, you're speaking about Philadelphia, just brought that to my attention. It's like how, like, it's just crazy that, like, no matter, like, in towns like that, in cities like that, in Philadelphia, and like the inner cities and all that stuff.
Did the kid cry?
Things like that happen. Oh, dude, it was one. Remember yesterday you talked about, like, the kid, like, you know, if the kid takes a bunch of breath and then just lets it out.
Yeah,
it was like that.
Hey, Dad was probably drunk too. Dad was probably drunk.
Yeah. So it was just one of those crazy things that, like, kind of just, it's like, well, what do you do? Like, if you're out in the streets, and, like, how do you assess the situation? And it's like, do you say something? Is it you're a random person? Like, is it like, hey man, like, that's a kid?
Hey, this one time I was at a restaurant having breakfast, and there were like 15 of us at the table, and my sister was there with her 3 sons, and one of her sons started acting like a jackass, right? So she grabbed him by the arm and took him outside, and this dude from a fucking another table jumped up like he was going to do something to my sister, and followed her outside because of the way she grabbed her son. And it wasn't an issue at all. And I fucking jumped up and went out there too. And if this dude was going to say something, he was a giant dude too. I was like, if this dude was going to say something, I was going to break a chair over his head. So you got to be careful. Yeah. You also got to be careful. Like, fuck, are you interfering with someone and their fucking kid?
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's what went through my head. And it's like, all right, well, if it was, let's say I was hanging out with let's say you, right? And I see, obviously, just using you as an example, and I see something and you do something, and someone steps up to you, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, hey, get the hell out of here.
Right.
And I would speak to you separately. I'd be like, hey, man, what are you doing? Obviously, you know, it was, in my opinion, it was very egregious. But at the same time, it's like, it's really not my place to be like, hey, man, don't fucking hit your kid. But it was one of those things that just kind of sticks in my mind. And again, once you know, talking about Philadelphia and the whole situation kind of brought that to light. And I'm like, damn, what? Like, how do you approach that situation?
There was a guy, I can't remember if it was a Giant Stadium or Dodger Stadium, but I was in Capitola. That's right down the street from my house. And I was with Greg, and there was a guy in a wheelchair, and Greg walks up to the guy in the wheelchair, and Greg recognized him. And it was a famous case where a fight broke out at a Dodgers game or Giants game. And this guy fucking, I don't remember if he's a cop or not, but he got the shit beat out of him. This guy was in a fucking wheelchair, like drinking through a straw. Right. And then later on, Greg explained the story to me. Like, yeah, that guy's famous. It was a famous case. And this guy got the shit beat out of him at a Dodgers Giants game. In the parking lot. And you know what ended up happening? The guy, I think, who beat the guy senseless and put him in a wheelchair, I think that dude's son ended up testifying against his dad. And he was just a little kid. Like, I don't know if testify is the right word, but it was the son who outed the dad. And you also got to be careful, dude. Like, you do not want to get killed at a fucking, like, I think you assessed it perfectly. You do not want to fucking get killed at a fucking Eagles game because some fucking drunk idiot slapped his kid.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I assessed the situation at that point. I'm like, damn, like, I can't really do anything. But it's one of those things that kind of sticks in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, totally. Every once in a while, it just pops up, and I'm like, damn. Like, it sucks because you never know what that kid's home life is. But again.
I saw a lady, I told this story before. I saw a lady in Berkeley beating her daughter. Her daughter was probably 17. The mom was probably 40. And the mom was just beating her on the street, hit her in the face, forehand and backhand, slapping her both ways with hundreds, if not thousands of people walking by. I had to run across 3 lanes of traffic and jump in front. And granted, they were 2 tiny Asian people, right? So what, like, it was no, probably the only two people smaller than me within a mile radius, but still, like there is definitely, I mean, I would not have done it if it was some fucking drunk dude fucking beating a 17-year-old son who was fucking a foot taller than me. There's no fucking way.
Yeah. No, I mean, like it is what it is. And like, I
people die at Raider
like,
games. Right? People die at Raider games.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think the problem isn't don't go into the city. Like what type of solution is that, Riley? Like, all right, cool, let's ignore the problem. Like, obviously it happens and like it is what it is. And same thing, Spiegel. First of all, like, by the way,
Sousa.
By the way, there's a bunch of people that always come up
and look at Sousa just pulled it up. Philadelphia is the most dangerous. It sounds like it's the most dangerous place to go watch a football game.
Yeah.
As of 2022.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Who would have thought that? Shit. Well, that town is a shithole. It really is. It's a bad place.
Honestly, I mean, I don't go there that often. It's got good places, but at the same time, it's like it's interesting. It's big enough. It's small enough where there's like a lot of shit going on, but it's big enough that there's like a lot of different areas that like some areas are okay, but they're right next to like fucking like all the videos that you see of people just shooting up and doing drugs on the street. There's literally like a block of separation, and it's just like really nice and then shitty. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. CEO mugs will be back in stock next week.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
You motherfuckers like bought them all out in like 2 days.
Awesome.
I appreciate that. But they'll be out next week. I'll talk to you guys.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Oh, Sousa, are you sick, Gabe?
No, that was just a weird like thing in my throat when I went to go
happens. Mike McCaskey, I stopped attending Raiders games in the early 90s after I saw a Denver fan almost get pushed over the first riser. We grabbed the guy as he held onto the railing. Yeah, wow. Isn't that amazing? You just see one thing like that and you're just done. I know. I've had experiences like that too. You see something somewhere and you're like, okay, I'm just not going back there again. Wow, this is largest jail in stadium too. You mean in Philly? Crazy. I want to look up this guy's name right here. Dan Guerrero.
Dan Guerrero? Okay.
Is he on? Is he just? I'm going to type in
Guerrero.
Dan
Instagram.
Guerrero Instagram. Yeah.
What is it?
That's how I do all my FBI searches.
There's a Dan. Oh, there's a couple. Uh-oh.
And then sometimes I'll do Dan Guerrero and I'll do CrossFit.
Yeah, that's always good because usually there's a CrossFit in the bio. You think this guy's got 10,000 plus followers, or
no?
He's more in the 258 range.
No, yeah, no. This guy doesn't have any friends.
Were you arguing with him in the chat earlier?
Oh, he was telling me that this is the creepy side that everyone knows exists for Sevon.
Oh no!
And then he's playing tough guy in the comments.
Keyboard.
Why didn't you do something, Gabe? Why didn't you? He's acting like he's drunk, but it's too early in the morning to be drunk.
Well, not everywhere. He is true. That. He was saying that because he was the one that got smacked around. Now he's like, fuck.
Ha ha ha! I knew it was going to get under your skin. It's crawling all over the outside of it also. Katie Gannon, good morning. Sean Sullivan, I don't know if I like this. This is Dan. That's why we're all here. We all have all the sides of Sevon. I don't like that.
Don't agree.
Dan lives rent free in Seven's Head. Why does it have to be rent free?
It's always rent free.
All right.
That's awesome. Good morning.
Did I send you the
notes?
The notes?
Yep. I'm ready to rock. I'm already down in the 500s in case you pull something way at the bottom too.
Oh, good. 528.
Okay.
528.
Yeah, look at that. Right on cue.
This is remember yesterday when I was talking about how you get to like have experiences, like my wife telling me that she was pregnant but she really wasn't pregnant, and you get to have experiences but you're not, but you don't, but it's like SEAL fit, right? You get to pretend like you're a SEAL, but you're at the end of the day you get to go home, you don't have to kill anyone. There's not dudes jacking off underneath you under the bunk, you know. This this is one of those things. I saw this this morning. Someone sent this to me. But so there's a couple things going on here. This is multi-layered. You get to experience something that you don't really actually have to do, your reaction to it. And you also you get to see, this is men. I personally don't like this kind of humor. I would not have liked this done to me. But I appreciate it. This is why I didn't get to hang out with some of the cool kids sometimes, because I just couldn't hang with this shit when I was younger. I just couldn't, it's like the guys. Now this is different. On the flip side, the guys who were like bench pressing in high school, and then someone comes and rests their balls on your forehead. There was that guy in the football team who did it. Like, I hated that shit.
Yeah, that was.
I hated that shit. I don't want to deal with that. I hate bro humor. Kenneth DeLapp says, I'm torn.
It's not your bro humor. It's like being an asshole.
Yeah.
There's like
I didn't like titty twisters.
No.
I don't like, I don't like dead legs.
No ball sack taps.
Yeah, no.
The guy that just comes up.
No. I don't like, yeah.
No.
Stuff that puts me like under unnecessary stress.
Yeah, you just try to eat your food and you're like,
yeah. Okay, Wet Willie, yeah, not a fan. Someone I really, really like gave someone else I really like, and they just met for the first time. An enormous Wet Willie.
Oh gosh.
And it made me hate the guy who gave it to him. It sucked. Because Wet Willie, it's basically you're spitting in someone's ear.
Yeah, you are. It's not like, yeah.
It's not cool. Oh, I don't know. Is a snake bite when they pinch some skin and then they hit it with their knuckle? I thought that was a cow bite.
It's like the ones where they like pinch it between a knuckle, I think, maybe.
Trish, cool people are never funny. You have to have a chip on your shoulder to be funny. You need something to prove or to see things differently. Oh, that's interesting. Melvins, is that when they pull your underwear up behind you really hard? Is that what a Melvin is? Or in the front? That's when they do it in the front?
Yeah.
Pull it up in the front? I've actually never seen that done to anyone. That's a pretty good guess, right? What's it called when you pull it up in the back?
Is it just called a wedgie?
Wedgie. Yeah. Wedgie. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And a Melvin. Hey, is a Melvin clock when you grab the front of their underwear?
I think so. Oh no, he said no from the back. I don't know. I think it was from the front though.
Justin H, this is good. Scientists at Utah Health Science Center have developed a new drug called CPAC, which in mice has prevented weight gain when eating what amounts to high-calorie junk diet with sugar and fatty food. Fatty food. Okay, let's
fatty food.
I'm glad you're here. You being here has changed my mood. Okay,
good.
Let's play this.
Okay, here we go. Maybe no music.
That eye contact is crazy. Fucking amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have had a dick in his mouth. He's wearing an Apple Watch. Oh. It's not conclusive, but it is a... I do notice that when I was wearing an Apple Watch that I kind of had a greater propensity. It would have been easier for someone to put their dick in my mouth. I tell you that.
Strong correlation.
Yes. Just a correlate. No proof, but a correlate. Oh, my goodness. So that's pushing the outer end. I mean, but you didn't put the dick in his mouth. But he got the simulation. Yeah, that I couldn't bring myself to put the chocolate dick in my mouth. I just couldn't do it. Philip Kelly, send me that post. Send me nudes of your wife, then I'll send you that. Yeah. So anyway, so you got that guy got it free. So that guy probably knows that he's not gay. Or that he is gay. He got to test it out. Without actually having to put a dick in his mouth.
It seemed to upset him, so we're gonna go with not gay.
Okay. How about this? How about this 526? This is what a real DEI looks like. This is what it would look like if there was a real.
Link's broken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sorry, this page isn't available.
Oh, man. So you know what that was? There is a it was an article about the 5 or 6 states that were allowing parents now to choose where they wanted to send their kids to school. So you could send your kid, you could get money from the state, and then you pick what school you want your kids to go to. That's what real DEI looks like. Do you know who benefits from that? Not rich people. Not rich people. Poor people benefit hugely from that. Hugely, hugely, hugely from that.
I was gonna see if there was an article on it.
And what's crazy is that's happening in conservative states.
It's crazy that you don't really have a choice if you think about it, right? Because isn't the school funded off the property taxes of the area?
Yes.
And so like you already know that the rich are gonna get rich, the poor are gonna stay poor, right?
Yes.
Like, just by design.
Yeah, that's what so basically what you're doing there is you're letting people vote with their money. You're letting people vote with their money. Let people vote with their money. That's real fucking DEI shit.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
I was looking at there was this other post, I didn't pull it up, but I was looking at it was different forms of racism, and it was shit that I'd never seen before. But I guess in the 1950s, openly Ivy League schools all had a cap of Jews. No more than 10% of their school could be Jews, and they capped it at that, and it was just open. We've reached our Jew quota, and that was it.
Shut her down.
Yeah, it's like, wow. Like things have never changed.
Hey, you know what's interesting too with the universities is like, why do they have the race option on there on your application? Like, why would you have
why do they even ask?
Yeah, like if you're filling
Islander,
it out,
Asian, great question. What the fuck do they care?
What does it matter, right? Like if you reach the criteria to go to the school and you're an acceptable candidate, like nothing else should really matter.
There's a I can't remember. There was a movie talking about that, but I don't remember which. I think it was like the New York City Philharmonic. But when you tried out for the orchestra, I think it's pretty common with all orchestras, they put you behind a curtain.
Yeah. So they don't.
And you're not allowed to see. Yeah, you're not allowed to see the person.
Mm-hmm. Just based off what you hear.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that. That's awesome. Okay, 521. Chinamen. Thought this was appropriate after. Did you hear Judy's call in yesterday?
No, she called in. I heard you asking questions, and it was like asking.
Yeah, I got a couple Chinese things lined up here. After this, we'll do 519. Listen to this one.
Nice.
I'll probably get in trouble for showing this. Here we go.
You can't say Chinaman anymore, right? I can't believe you ever could, because that is the laziest labeling of a demographic I've ever heard, right? So the first one lands on our shores, and we gather around going, what the fuck, where are you from, right? And he goes, China. And we go, oh, you're a Chinaman. And he goes, I'm a what? You're a Chinaman. A Chinaman. Yeah. What's my wife? Duh, Lady Chinaman. Why don't you call me by my name? I don't know your name, do I? It's Ling. Ling. Yeah. Is that your first name or your surname? Both. Ling Ling? Hello? Right, no. I know you can't say Chinaman anymore.
519. Yesterday, I told you, I don't know. I do not know if this story is true. I'm struggling. This is a lady in England. You have to listen very carefully. But she got like a fever or something. And when she woke up, she had a Chinese accent.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like 150 of these cases supposedly in the world. This is crazy. This is crazy right here. Okay, here we go.
2.5 years ago, she was rushed into hospital with a migraine, which left her with a voice she didn't recognize.
I have not actually heard my voice in the conversation for nearly 3 years now.
Her initial response upon hearing how she used to sound from a bank telephone recording,
Good afternoon, thank you for calling.
was to long for her old accent to return.
Yeah, I'm not actually ringing about my policy though. I'm ringing for a quote.
Do you still want my policy number?
I know it's me, but I feel like I want to say, oh, she make a good speak. She speak a good, but like that, not me no more.
Here's what's fucked up. It's not just her accent. Her fucking grammars have fucking got all fucked up too. Do you know what I mean? Like, you not only take on the affect of being Chinese, but you're just leaving out the words like a foreigner would. Like, that has nothing to do with being Chinese. That's just, she's talking foreigner talk, right?
Yeah, that's so strange. That's so strange. But like, you can't just fake that 24/7 for forever, right? Like,
look, it's. I mean, you think someone just made this up and they put a little BBC stamp on there?
that'd be the ultimate troll. But no, I don't. Let's see.
Crazy. Hey, is this true what Jeffrey Birchfield is saying? Welcome to Texas, where if you make too much money off of taxes, you have to pay the state so they can reallocate to poorer districts or lose property if you're in your district to make up for it if you don't pay. I'm not sure I even understand that, but I don't like that, whatever that is.
Yeah, I wasn't tracking either, but I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a whole thing, dude. There's like a bunch of stuff on this woman. We should get her on the show.
Oh, okay. Look, it says when your trolling levels are unmatched.
Yeah, I know, but
it's not just the accent; it's the broken English. What the hell? Well, click on that. Let's view the replies on that.
Okay.
Yeah, what fucking happened to her whole language? This one is obviously because she's doing it. It's not broken English. It's literally neurological damage.
Sorry.
She will literally never be able to talk the same again. It's sad. She physically cannot pronounce certain letters. You would be surprised by the amount of people who cannot speak almost at all anymore who have this syndrome.
Topos.
All of a sudden, it goes from hello to hello. Hey, I wonder if you could turn into Scooby-Doo.
Me after 2 beers. Imagine her going to a Chinese restaurant to order. God, the internet. No, but I Google searched it, and there's like a lot of stuff on this happening. 2000
Man,
in 2016, and she's not the only one. This is the most famous case, but there's a bunch of them. And then some people claiming they woke up from a coma speaking Chinese.
What if COVID caused that? Like the Wuhan flu just gave you Chinese accent. The Spanish flu gave you a Spanish accent.
Diversity.
SEMA, yep, Robin Hood tax originated in San Antonio. You pay by district, so it covers all neighbors, poor and rich. No income tax, only sales tax, and then property taxes. And I'm not sure I understand it, but taking from the rich and giving to the poor is basically just a politician's way of getting their cut.
Yeah.
That is. And they disguise it as that they're helping poor people. Well, good. That makes me feel happy. To really spit out my coffee.
Got him. Is that cultural appropriation?
Did you guys know this rapper Lecrae? I'd never heard of him until 2009 or 10 when I was visiting Mayhem, and they would play him a lot at Tennessee Tech in the gym when like Rich and Elijah Muhammad and Dan Bailey would work out, and I would hear this guy. If you go to 515, I just call horse shit on this clip right here. I think this is just complete bullshit.
Oh, this is Lecrae? Okay.
Yeah, this is just fucking nuts.
Play it.
Yeah, please.
Young lady asked me, was I woke? Have I succumbed to wokeness or whatever that means? I'm gonna be honest with you. In 2023, I hate that word. One, because it's been co-opted, like so many other things, for political agendas and ideologies. A lot of times, people think I'm very political. The truth of the matter is,
Can you pause this? I don't know what that means by co-opted, but it's just an easy way just to categorize a group of people, like hockey players. Like there's things that you think about them, like they have a bag in their car with a stick and a puck and in the pads. It's just a way. But it's a way of grouping people by the way they think, by their ass backward thinking. I don't know what that means by co-opted. Maybe it was used one way in the beginning, and a larger group took the word. Yeah, I think that is it. I think it used to have a positive connotation. I don't think it does anymore. A woke means that you're willing to hurt a group of people. You're willing to hurt a group of people that you think is better than you to help yourself. That's that. In a nutshell, it's kind of like that. Someone worked their whole life, saved all their money, bought a Rolls Royce, worked their ass off, and you see it, and a woke person says, that's bullshit, and they want to take that Rolls Royce from you and sell it and buy 10 drug addicts fucking Kias. and they do it because it's under the guise of being fair. Because they just care about the outcome. And so in the end, they end up rewarding people who are just the drug addicts and they got free Kias. And what you do is then you lower the bar for everyone. And everyone who is working their ass off to make a Rolls Royce is now punished. Mm-hmm. That's woke. That's what woke is.
The race to the bottom.
Yeah. Woke is coming on like this dipshit is 12 daily doses and just talking complete utter bullshit without doing any research about vaccines. Just a trolling woke douchebag, just willing to hurt other people to maintain something that you know nothing about. You're just willing to just maintain so that you don't have to think for yourself. Yeah, socialism. I agree. Shizzle. So woke is another thing of woke is just to constantly complain without ever coming up with a solution.
Yeah, victim mentality. That's another.
Yeah. Complain.
Point at problems.
Yeah. So I disagree with him there, but go on. So sorry. So he says he's not woke. Okay.
I'm not married to a political party. I'm married to the scriptures. And oftentimes biblical agendas are hijacked by political campaigns and political pundits. And you are forced to look like you've chosen a side. If you care about the unborn, then you must be politically pro-life and conservative. If you care about the lives of unarmed Black people, you must be politically progressive or liberal. And
pause.
I think that's
so that was just like crazy. That was just nuts that he just threw that in there. That just shows how political he is. He's crazy political. Care about the lives of unarmed Black people.
I mean, that was a bad label, but or
like,
bad
what?
meaning to the label.
Like, dude.
But he's not far off, because if you do say anything about that, like you're protecting that group or any group, then for sure you're going to be labeled Democratic, right?
Everyone can, but it's just like, why wouldn't he just say, if you care about innocent people being killed? It's just it's the way he said it was political.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I get what he's saying. I hate being thought, like, I just pulled up this article today of these fucking right-wing nut jobs, these conservatives not wanting the statue of David being shown to their kids or discussed.
Oh yeah,
right, and calling it pornography.
Yeah.
There is a no one in their right mind. It has nothing to do with race. If you don't care about unarmed Black men being killed, if you don't care about Black men being killed, if you don't care about just innocent people being killed, has nothing to do with race. Just means you're a piece of shit. We could do a whole fucking show on that. Spencer Davis, woke was used in Black culture since the 1920s for very different reasons. Then it got co-opted by hippies, then lefties. Well, and now righties have taken it. I didn't know that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I'd never heard the term until 10 years ago. Okay. Anyway, I think by saying all of this, he's saying the opposite about himself. He's clearly aware of the unarmed Black men, the 12 unarmed Black men that were killed in the United States in 2019 after 365 million fucking traffic stops. He could have just easily have said, I'm concerned about black on black crime in the inner city. He could have just easily have said any of that stuff, but he chose that. And I just think that that's a pretty politically charged one to choose.
Yeah. Do you think the message is so conflated that people don't even recognize that as politically charged, or do you think that was more or less his objective in this?
I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't think it's politically charged, because sometimes when you talk with people, it's more or less like they'll make a comment like that just to show like, hey, well, especially with us out here in the Bay Area and the California, right? But they'll make a comment like that to be like, hey, look at, like, this is the team I'm on, like a subtle kind of like, you know, and they'll drop something and they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, cops just shooting unarmed black guys or something like that. And it kind of shows like, hey, you're on the in and you're on the popular side of beliefs.
Well, I understand where he's coming from. I don't want to be lumped up with conservatives or Republicans, but on the other hand, it's like I'm for sure voting that way to try to bring the tide back,
bring it back to equilibrium.
Yeah, but I sure as fuck don't want to be seen like when I sure as fuck don't like to be seen as a conservative or Republican. But it's because I think a lot of people think that because I'm just so anti-liberal. I'm so in the things they stand for.
Yeah, which is ironic because a lot of the left stuff seems way more extreme than some of the stuff that you're usually talking about. That seems a little bit more of like, just don't go that extreme.
Yeah, just don't go that extreme.
You're not pulling extreme in the opposite direction. You're just like, let's just bring some common sense and think this through a little bit. That's all it takes.
I know this word common sense, this phrase common sense.
Yeah, that's a bad phrase because what is common sense, right?
Exactly. I should be libertarian.
I think you are libertarian. How would you describe yourself politically homeless? Hence the t-shirt.
Yeah, I guess. There's also a chance that I'm just in denial.
Like you don't want to call yourself a Republican?
Yeah, there's a small chance of that.
That's healthy. Like either way.
Abortion was created to kill minorities.
Well, damn, Sean. Dan.
Why can't you listen to the professionals, Sevon? They're here to help. I know.
I'm the government and I'm here to help.
Man, I've been really digging into that. It's nuts. I've been digging into like the Democrats of the 1850s and just how that the argument to keep slaves was for their safety, and that the people and that the slaves were much happier in the South than the whites were in the North, that the whites lived a horrible life in the North and that the Southern slaves lived a great life, and that the Northerners were horrible people because they wanted the slaves to be set free and then they would all die because they can't take care of themselves. It's nuts. That was like the argument. That's the argument now from the Democrats too. It's just so crazy that people don't see that.
That's what I was going to say. It hasn't changed much, huh?
No, it hasn't changed at all. Don't worry, we'll take care of you.
You can't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have access. Oh, you do have access? Shut up. Follow us. You don't.
And the more and more you realize it too, that it was going to become a class thing too, that they had a whole plan to then enslave whites too of the North. It was a whole class, going to be a whole class thing. 505 hood trannies.
Your titles get me sometimes.
Hood trannies. This one is kind of fascinating. I don't know if it's true, but why aren't kids in the hood transitioning to the opposite sex? I know the answer. Just wanted to see if you knew. Comment below. Sarah Higdon. Well, because the typical demographic is upper middle class white kids of progressive parents for two reasons. They have time and money to worry about such things and have been conditioned to believe through critical theory that they are an oppressor and that there is no way they can escape that status. So they see this as a way to join an oppressed class for which they are celebrated for instead of condemned. It's the relationship between CRT and queer theory. Holy shit. I am a firm believer, and I've witnessed it, that if you are just searching for shelter and food, you do not have the luxury for these things. Drug addicts are a perfect example of it in kind of a forced situation. They don't worry about those things. Like if you're a hardcore drug addict and you're living on the streets, you don't have any of these issues. You'll suck any dick for drugs. You don't care if you're a boy or a girl. None of that stuff matters. You don't care about race. You'll smoke a crap pipe with a black dude, an Asian dude, a white dude. You don't give a fuck. And that's kind of a forced thing that shows necessity, or what you position as necessity. But the same would true if I'm the most racist guy ever, or I'm with bunch of people, and it's a black guy, an Asian guy, and a white guy, and we all hate each other. The second we don't have anything and we need to kill a lion for food, we put all that aside. I've seen that in real time in the world. And yeah, exactly. Isn't that amazing? Government handout is the modern day slave master, 100%.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Margaret Sanger thing, yeah, I talked about that in another show too. The whole sterilization thing is, and the abortion thing is fascinating. That's exactly what they told the Native Americans. They sterilized, I guess, 75% of the Native Americans in this country. And the argument was that we're doing it to help you out of poverty. If you keep having kids, you're going to be stuck in poverty, and you don't want kids to be raised in poverty, so we're going to sterilize you. Dude, sterilization was going on into the 70s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's way crazy. That became a partisan. That became a bipartisan. Is it bipartisan when they agree on shit? Yeah, that became a bipartisan too. The Republicans got big into sterilization too. It's crazy how none of that shit is hidden. If you just go start looking that stuff up, it's like people politicians involved in that shit. They don't. Well, Europe's gonna have its own shit coming down the pipe. You have to remember we're kind of in the great experiment here in the United States. We're a little bit ahead of the doing the melting pot thing.
Or like the testing ground.
Yeah.
Does it work? Does it not? Okay, let's bring it here.
I think I already did this one. Oh yeah. I wonder if Hiller would try to enter the women's class for CrossFit. I want someone to do that and document it.
You'd have to go full commit, right? Because I feel like if Hiller did it, they might just be like, "Oh, this is a troll or this is a joke," and we know it's and they could guise it of he's making fun of or harming those people, and we're not taking it seriously for those reasons. You know what I mean? They could easily pull that card, as opposed to if you just had some random that signed up and was doing it, and they didn't know. They were like, "Wait a minute,
man." What's this one? 487.
If it gets clicks, Hiller will do it. 487.
I wrote conservatives. 487.
Got it here. Looks like it's starting hot. Rock and roll.
Please, yes, thank you.
Conservative black men, Uncle Toms, because we believe in God first and believe in the raising a nuclear family. Because we don't use racism and white supremacy as an excuse for failure. We want limited government and the right to bear arms. Because we don't believe in being a victim, but we believe in being winners. Because we want to be respected by our works instead of our ethnic background. Because we believe in men should be men and not be wearing dresses. Not sitting around always expecting a handout from the government. When people act like there's only racism only exists on one side of the spectrum. Maybe there should be more conservative men out there. Maybe. Why do they call conservative black men Uncle Toms?
There you go. When I see people speaking like this, I want to know their journey. I want to know their journey. Where did he come from?
How does he believe the stuff he does now? How did he get to that place?
Yes. 486. You can't sue vaccine companies. Here we go. If you don't know your rights, you have none. Interesting.
Who said? Someone say that in the chat?
Yeah. It's the title of this. It's up top.
Oh yeah, that's a great title. Okay, ready to rock?
Yeah, let's do it.
During COVID lockdowns will now be excused or refunded following a stunning admission from the state government that they were never valid. The embarrassing capitulation forced by a Supreme Court challenge from a small community legal centre.
New South Wales in a state of COVID lockdown. Stay-at-home orders and beach closures.
The coastal walk is officially closed.
Police
What a bitch.
points ordered to fine people doing the wrong thing.
We're doing nothing wrong, guys.
The battle hinged on a technicality that the infringements were so vague they didn't comply with legislation. Today, government lawyers admitted that was true, prompting this.
I am withdrawing all the fines that are related to those particular offences.
Lawyers argue every single infringement could yet be ruled invalid. That decision will be decided in a judgment next year.
All those fines are invalid and should never have been issued.
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
Fines issued.
What happened? What's going to happen?
Ooh. There was never, with you guys' your walk on the beach there, was that ever like taped up like that?
Yes. I was on the beach and people came and told me to get off the beach in cop cars. Yeah, in like trucks with sirens and shit on.
Really? What
Yeah.
would anything come of that? Were you just like, hey, we're okay, thank you? Or did you just like grab your stuff and go? Or like what was the outcome of that?
I think we just kind of stayed there. I think we just hung out for probably like, I think eventually we left.
Yeah, but not like right away.
No, I think they came in trucks. Basically what it was is we knew it was going to happen when you walked onto the beach. There were people there telling you not to go on the beach. And then we went out there and there were probably a dozen people it was probably one of those beaches. Oh, it wasn't that small. It wasn't that small beach that I went to you with most recently. It was that big beach I went with you the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was there. So there were like a dozen people over a half mile. There was no one there, but they fucking pulled a truck up to us and like, hey, you got to go.
Wow. And it's crazy because if you're looking at the water just to the left, all that's private beach. So I wonder if they could have done the same, like if they have the same jurisdiction there too.
That's a great question. I bet you they didn't.
Mhm.
Stefan and Matt, did you watch the Patrick Bet-David podcast with the man who wrote Sudden Death? That was Edward Dowd.
I've got to watch it. You got the book right here.
I didn't watch it. Did you watch the interview?
I watched like the first half of it or so. Yeah.
We had outdoor exercise equipment saran wrap so no one could use it in the public parks. I heard some of the skate parks even filled the skate parks up with sand.
They did that in Venice. Yeah, they pushed all the sand into the. It's so ridiculous. Like even then, you were like knew this was way over the top.
Look at 455.
One thing from that though that's kind of interesting is it kind of just shows how fragile all of it is, right?
Yes. You mean that all our shit can just be stopped? The government can just stop all our shit and no one will fight back? Yeah.
Newsom
In hindsight, I wish I would have pushed back even more.
Yeah, Newsom just comes out on a Tuesday for the press conference and now tells you, hey, you still can't go back to your job and your kids can't walk on the beach. And we're like, thank you, Newsom. Okay, have fun at French Laundry.
Yes. This is a lady or a man. This is a man dressed as a lady and it says trans orders when people don't know I'm trans. Okay, let's see.
I don't give a fuck. Man, the only trans I'm worried about is you transferring my order from your hands to mine.
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah, isn't that great?
That's
no one
perfect.
Cares.
That's perfect.
Good. Get my fucking burger.
Like trans I care about.
Yeah, get my fucking. You're back, extra sloppy. You're back. Welcome back. And like you promised. DeSantis opened Florida beaches and mainstream media called him a murderer.
Mm-hmm. But not Cuomo.
Fucking nuts. 453. We got to get Asim Malhotra back on. I need to. That's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fucking at 453. I've been fucking with him in WhatsApp. I need to pin him down.
He's all over the place now too.
Yeah, he gone big time. We had this guy on the show.
There we go.
Yeah.
Primary driver until proven otherwise of the excess deaths is the vaccine. It's likely that the vaccine was always going to do more harm than good.
Asim, it is so great to have you on the podcast. I have to say, I absolutely love your approach to health
and how passionate you are about evidence-based medicine. I'm a doctor, qualified doctor, 2001. There's all sorts going on in the world right now. Everyone's stressed. Post-lockdown pandemic, as an academic in this field who doesn't have any conflicts of interest, who was very pro-vaccine, who took it, the primary driver until proven otherwise of the excess deaths is the vaccine. If you're under 60, mate, you've got to basically vaccinate tens to hundreds of thousands of people to prevent one person having a hospitalization with severe COVID, versus a harm rate of at least 1 in 800, right? A lot of what drove the behavior.
So I want to explain that for anyone who didn't follow that. You got to give thousands of injections, 10,000, let's say, to prevent, by the numbers that they have, to prevent one person, to prove that one person didn't go to the hospital because they took the injection. It prevented them from going to the hospital. But 1 in 800 people is injured by the injection. That's a 10 to 1 or more than that. By the way, in the beginning of the show, you guys all know someone who received the polio vaccine and who is injured by it. You guys all know someone. It's not my place to say who it is, but you all know someone, and you all know someone. And so going back to what the 12 doses was saying, you all know someone. You all know someone.
This picture right here where it was paused on reminds me of what you were talking about yesterday, which really got me thinking. And you were like, hey, if one out of every 100 kids is raised where they're not really talked to or don't have normal socialization, they end up being a sociopath and potentially become like a serial killer.
Yeah.
And we've exacerbated that problem potentially by having hundreds of them now because of the, the mass policies that we enforce upon our kids, and scared parents really continue to enforce past beyond the, time that it was told to do us by the law. And so yeah, that was just, I was thinking about that. And there's still some kids with the youth group that we do that are still with that mask and are more comfortable with their mask on and stuff. And I was like, fuck, I hope you're not right.
Imagine that word fuckery. You're more comfortable with your mask on. Listen to that word fuckery.
Yeah.
You're uncomfortable, and so you're more comfortable with your mask on. Think about how fucked up that is. Daniel Garrity, why do you think the mRNA vaccine is more dangerous than COVID itself? The thing is that COVID's not dangerous. Well, let me just go, and I think I'm preaching to the choir, but COVID is super dangerous if you're obese and like 400 pounds overweight and drinking a 6-pack of Mountain Dew every day. And if you're like me and you're a paragon of health, then it is not a threat to you at all. And you look at places like Sweden, and the average age of death is 80 years old, and the average COVID death is 82. And then it becomes a misnomer to say that you died from COVID, because the proper wording would be you died with COVID. That's if you just believe in like algebra and fucking math and just using words to describe what accurately what's going on. And if we're pushing people into a swimming pool and they're dying and they're drowning, but we don't mention that none of them know how to swim, we're doing everyone a disservice. We're telling people that water kills you. I mean, it's just a fucking enormous disservice to humanity. And so that in itself is the first problem. And then on top of that, I can't answer this question. Why do you think I know nothing about I only know what fucking I've looked at on YouTube, read in the newspaper, and seen on the internet, et cetera, about the mRNA vaccines. And mostly it's just looking at the numbers. But the manifestation of what it is this thing is causing clots all over the human body. And therefore people are dying of all sorts of different shit. People are losing their sight, losing their hearing. They're having strokes. They're having heart attacks. All sorts of neurological issues because of just random clotting that's happening. So for some reason, because of these spike proteins, there's clotting happening to people who take this thing. And then it can manifest as any other disease after that, any other sickness. So that's what's kind of, and cancers, all the ways that people die, there's been an increase in the way people die in those numbers, all of them across the board, pretty much. A vast swath of them, let's say, if not all of them, ever since the mRNA vaccine came out. Caller, hi.
Hey, it's Tom Guerin. How's it going?
Good. Peanut butter is also dangerous for 1 in 1,000 people. We don't stop making peanut butter. You're totally, and you're not forced to eat peanut butter to go to school And but on top of that, it's also it's proven that avoiding peanut butter and honey at an early age exacerbates the problem by like 100,000%. And that's the problem. It was the fear of peanut butter that caused the peanut butter allergies to get exacerbated. Caller, hi. Tom, hi.
Hey, I got two things for you. One of them's fun. But on the mRNA treatment therapy, you know what I don't hear anybody talk about anymore is that therapy is not intended to stop the spread of the infection. Even if everyone in the world took the gene therapy, it would not stop the spread of the infection. The only thing that it's supposed to do is mitigate the response that your body has to the infection. So it really doesn't matter. Like if you're some 600 pounder and you're like, it doesn't matter if I take the injection or not, because it doesn't stop me from spreading the virus. It just means I'm not going to feel as sick when I get it, supposedly.
Well, then it theoretically
totally
matters, right?
forgotten.
Because it could save your life.
Yeah, it matters for them if they get it, but it doesn't matter for them if I get it. If it were a traditional vaccine, the argument would be I need to get it so that I can't spread it to them. But the way the mRNA therapy works, it doesn't stop me from getting the virus. It just stops me from having as bad of an illness when I get the virus, which arguably could make it more dangerous, because what if I get the virus and I don't even notice and then I spread it in public because I feel fine?
Well, that's for certain. Hey, originally though, they were hoping that it would stop the spread, that it would not only stop.
Oh yeah, they all said it.
And here's the other thing: a vaccine's supposed to stop you from getting it. So, like, if you get the chickenpox vaccine, you're supposed to not get chickenpox.
Yeah.
And this thing does not work like that. This mRNA thing. If you get this
it's
thing,
not a
you
vaccine, but they changed the definition.
Yeah, you still get COVID.
It's ridiculous. Hey, I promised the chat that the next time I called in, I'd talk about something fun. So can we talk about something fun for a second?
Sure.
Okay, so I was trying to come up with a good McDonald's story, but none of those are going to be as fun probably. So when I was coaching at our local affiliate that shut down now, there was this one college student. So we're right by Notre Dame. And there was this one college student who came in. She came there for all 4 years. Just complete 10 out of 10, smoking hot, everybody. It was just one of those like undeniably gorgeous, right? Just completely. So all the guys in every class, you know, you have all these 35-year-old married dudes just like drooling over her. And she knew what she was doing too. So she was cool though. She was really nice. She handled it well. And there was a couple other college guys who were trying to hit on her over time. Well, all of a sudden in the middle of one of, I think it was probably her junior year, she stops coming into my class, my 5:30 a.m. class. And I didn't think anything about it, or I thought maybe she was on vacation or whatever. Well, come to find out, there's this other guy in our class, and he was probably one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete in the gym. So I talked to one of her mutual friends, and they said, I guess what happened was she went on a date with this dude, which good for him, right? And I guess she wouldn't put out on the first date. So
this is college? This is college?
Yeah, Notre Dame College. And so she wouldn't put out. So they went on their date, whatever. He took her home and then immediately drove to her best friend's place and went and got him some. And so she stopped coming to our CrossFit class because this guy burned her so bad. So anyway, I had to tell something juicy. So that's my juicy story.
Was she prettier than the eighth wonder of the world?
Not even comparison.
She was prettier?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Probably real too.
She was real. Exactly. It was like more
Tom,
of a,
you don't think the eighth wonder of the world is real either?
I have to look at it again. I don't know.
Okay.
People can convince me. There's been enough talk. You know what I mean? It's hard to know.
Right.
But this girl was very like sweet, innocent looking. She wasn't like big honkers or like, you know, anything like that. It was very,
she had that
sweet,
keeper.
Midwestern.
She had that keeper vibe.
Yeah. This is the girl you wanted to have your baby. Like it was like, you know, she's like from a Midwest dairy farm. She moved down here from like Wisconsin. Anyway, I can't say too much because, you know, she's probably listening. I think her dad owns a CrossFit gym too.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good story.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Bye. Peace and love.
Jody's harsh.
Not that funny of a story. Guys just like hot chick stories. really got annoyed with people in the chat. I really got annoyed with 12 daily doses today, and that Dan guy, like, really annoyed. Like, really, really annoyed.
They were grinding your gears.
It's just stupid talk and just slowing me down. And I'm like, part of me just wants to like put them on silent so that I don't have to. Like, part of me wants to address them because like maybe there's other people out there who can't make those connections themselves either.
Yeah.
And I want to help them out, but then part of me is like, are they just like,
are they fucking with you?
Yeah, like are we running away from Godzilla and these people keep like think it's like they're on acid and they keep thinking it's funny to say their shoes untied. And so we keep stopping to tie their shoes and it's like you're not even trying.
Yeah.
You're not even trying. Vice presidential duties. This is a perfect example of what it's like talking to 12 daily doses.
What number was that?
Number 1. Sorry, number 1.
Oh, we're all the way back at the top.
Back up to the top. Back up to the top.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Have a Bloody Mary, Sevi. I don't know. Not today. Today I'm really excited. I'm gonna get it hard today. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna work out hard today.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go fucking big. I'm gonna give it hard today too.
Nice.
There's some days that you got to go really hard. Today I'm gonna go hard. Probably work out. I'll probably do like 3 or 4 things today. Little things. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Maybe drink it tonight when there's UFC. Maybe, I don't know. Kamala Harris literally has. Although I did pull 295 when I was drunk, so maybe that's the way to do it. Here we go. This is just horse shit. It's crazy too that It's crazy too that what's the guy's name? You're gonna see his name. What was the guy? Oh, we'll see him in a second. I forget his name, but he even calls Kamala Harris out on it. But they just think it's funny. She doesn't answer the question, and he calls her out on it. But they both just laugh. It's like you just get a pass. Okay, here we go.
Just cackle it off.
Yeah, just cackle it off. Exactly.
Job of the vice president. What is the actual role on a daily basis as you have found it?
Well, I have the great privilege of serving with Joe Biden, who was president of the United States. There's only one person who sits behind that resolute desk. And the decisions that that person has to make are the decisions that nobody else in the country can make. And he's an extraordinary leader.
What do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot. 9/11 was bad.
I agree with that. It's an excellent answer. And the question was, what is the job of the vice president? And your answer is part.
What about our traffic problem?
9/11.
She does not know what the job of the vice president is. And frankly, with her mental acumen, that might be best. What is
12 minute on the assault bike. How long you got? Ooh, that'd be nasty. How long you got? The first 5 minutes would be really hard for me. I take a little bit of a while to get going.
It's weird how good Family Guy was in that. Like, that's just such the truth, you know? Like, politicians just hit those few buzzwords and everybody, oh, yeah, yay, look, yay. Like, I'm surprised.
Do you know can you think of any time when you've been impressed by her?
No. I can't even tell you any time that there's been a solid sound, like just charisma leadership coming from this administration. Like, not even like they actually did anything, but just like you hear him talk and you're like, because that's what Obama was really good at, right? Like, he would come on there and he'd give this speech and you're like, I don't know why, but I feel like empowered and stoked right now. And then he would go drone some more kids. But with this administration, you don't even have that. Like, there's not even like the false belief off their words that they're doing.
Right.
You're just kind of like, what is happening?
Yeah, I remember that. You nailed it right. When Obama would speak, I'd be like, oh yeah, I could hang with this dude. This dude's cool.
Yeah, you felt like, hey, not only I'm cool, he made some good points there, and I'd have a beer with him, you know?
Number 2, laws. I'm going to get through bunch of these right now.
Hammer time. The pound round. You ever heard anybody call the last drink at the bar the pound round?
No, but I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is good.
You know, a man the other day who was leaving, decided to immigrate, decided to leave this country. And I said, why are you leaving? He said, it's homosexuality. I said, what are you talking about? He said, 300 years ago, if you were homosexual, you were hanged, drawn, and quartered. 100 years ago, if you were homosexual, you were hanged. 50 years ago, if you were homosexual, you were flogged and given 20 years in prison. 20 years ago, if you were homosexual, you were fined £200 and sent to prison for 2 years. 5 years ago, if you were homosexual, you had a small fine and you were pardoned. Got off with a warning. I said, well, what are you leaving for? He said, I'm going before they make it compulsory. I was talking to a man the other day.
Hey, did he do 20 years twice?
I think so. Oh, 2 years. Went from 20 years to 2 years, maybe.
Sevon is 5. I thought it was going to go to like he was going to. I didn't see it going that way, that joke. So that's why I liked it. Sevon is 5-minute max cows, 5 minutes rest, 5-minute max cows, and 1 dumbbell snatch at 100 pounds. Oh, that's my workout. I miss the old days. You see that, David? What was that? Was that number 2?
Yes.
Okay, this one's quick, guys. Number 3, your legs. This one's quick. This one is very quick. Very quick, but I liked it. I was torn whether to show you guys this. This is very quick. Pay attention. Here we go.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah?
Can I buy you a drink?
No, it's not good for my legs.
Do they swell?
No, they spread.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah?
That one never gets old, right? There's like iterations of that all over Instagram.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Okay, here we go. Fleas. We've seen this before. Someone did a different cut to it. This is like watching a different version of the same music video. No, I don't know what this is, but you've seen this before. But I just like this iteration of it. It says on the screen, "You've never seen the world the same after watching this video." 20 seconds. You'll never see the world the same after watching this video. 20 seconds. Here we go. Action. Oh, you think that music's copyrighted?
Probably.
They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behavior is now set for the rest of their lives.
I can see the horizons.
Escape the circus. Listen, I want to show you guys something real quick. Oh, go back to that. I want to read that quote at the top of that what the write-up is in that Instagram post. It says, "Are you a flea? Most people are. They live their life on autopilot, capped by an imaginary lid, a lid placed on their life by their parents or the school system, sometimes both. Don't live life like this. Break the chain." I want to give you a different look at it. This is basically saying you're chained. This is basically saying you're chained, right? That you're chained. And what you saw from 12 Daily Doses today is that it's not that he's chained, it's that he's holding on. He's holding on. He's not chained. You're not chained. You're not chained. And there's this book, and it's called Illusions, and the author's name is Richard Bach. And letting go is really, really hard, but so fucking easy. You are not being chained. You just have to let go. You just have to don't be scared. Illusions, the adventures of a reluctant messiah. And in the very beginning of that book, can you see it? Can you open that book at all?
Let me see if I could do like a first page on Amazon.
The book is 2 stories. The first story is only 13 pages, and the second story is like 100. Get that book and read those first 13 pages. There's a parable in there that will fucking blow your mind. You are not trapped. You are holding on. You are doing it to yourself. No one has trapped you. You are demanding to believe all the old stories. You think you believe doctors, you believe pharma. You think it's not okay to say hi to homeless people. You don't make eye contact with strangers. You refuse to go barefoot because you think you'll step on glass. You're doing 1,000 little things that keep you asleep. All the things that you believe. Just let go. Let go. When I lost my job, I told myself I'm going to get rid of 100 things I do in this month that cost $20 a pop, and I saved $2,000. Do that. Do that with your life. Let go of fucking 10 things. When's the last time you've gone all day? What if you went to work with no shoes and socks on? When's the last time you've gone all day? When have you ever just decided you're not going to say a fucking word all day? Let go of that need to talk. Just let go. Just do some shit. Just let go. You are not being held there. You are voluntarily clasping on.
I love when you present those little challenges because they're so simple, but every time you do it, I think about it and I start getting nervous, like if I could do it or not. Like when you're like,
Yeah, I
go
get
all day
nervous too.
without barefoot, like I'm
Yeah.
like, could I do that? And I have a big, like, I could just go to the gym and I coach all day at my
Right,
gym. So
right.
technically, and I'm still like nervous about it. Imagine having like a corporate job or something like that.
Is this true? Richard Bachman was the pseudonym. This is Richard Bach, but is Richard Bach a pseudonym for Stephen King early work? Are you serious? I don't think so. I started digging into that book and I was really enjoying it. I need to have. Here's the thing, Jeremy. Jeremy's saying read the book "Everything You Believe Is Wrong" by William Briggs. Have you read that? I started reading it.
No.
It's a pretty fast, easy read. But I need to read that and then invite him on the show. Yes, it was. Is Richard Bachman the same as Richard Bach? Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and those are all the same.
Here's what I got here.
Richard Bachman is the pen name for what books did he write under Richard Bachman? Look at that. Pen name, the Bachman book Thinner. I think that might be different than Richard Bach.
Yeah, I don't see illusions on here.
There's a story of how Richard Bach wrote that book. I don't remember if it was Illusions or Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Don't doubt me. Why would I lie? I don't know why you would lie, and I don't doubt you. But
that statement makes me feel like you did.
But there's a difference between the name Richard Bachman and Richard Bach. Bachman has 3 more letters at the end, M-A-N.
Was that Briggs's book on free will?
And I'm not sure.
Okay.
But if the opportunity you'll see, so let's say you choose like, hey, today I'm not going to wear shoes at all, and I'm not going to put socks on. You're going to just notice the chatter in your brain of making excuses why you have to, and none of them will be legit. Just keep listening to them. Well, someone's going to laugh at me, or it's going to be dangerous here. None of them are going to be legit. The vast majority of them aren't going to be legit. It's all going to be social pressure you're going to see. Just keep letting go of shit. Let yourself fly high. I'm telling you that that book Illusions, there's a story in there. No one is being, don't use the I'm being trapped. That's the victim. That's the victim. You're not trapped. You're holding on. You have the power.
Yeah, that lid from that last video is just, it's not like a physical barrier around us. I think it's the cap on your ability to like think and question.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely the cap on us.
You're holding on to stories.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. It is you holding on. It could be forced upon you as much as it wants, but if you just let go of it, then you've let go of it.
Yeah, it is different than Richard Bach.
So you did like Kenneth.
And it's uncomfortable for everyone to let go. That's normal. That's the normal process. When you let go first, you like and you go to the heavens. It's a rough ride at first. You get tossed around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get tossed up. People staring at you with people asking you why you're barefoot. People staring at you. Yeah, all that stuff. People judging Greg for having his hat on backwards.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was asking that.
But they're the ones in the cage. You have to remember, they're the ones in the cage.
And you're just somebody who recognizes you're in the cage and knows how to kind of like push against it more, right? By like not wearing the shoes or not talking all day, or like doing those little things. That's why I was asking if Briggs's book was on free will, because I had a discussion about it. I was lucky enough to have a discussion about it at lunch with him one time, and it was crazy. And basically what his breakdown was is like, there is no free will. Like all the decisions you are making are based off the parameters that were set by your experiences, society, those type of things, like the limited tools we might have. So essentially, like, even though you're choosing something, you're only choosing that something in the confines of those parameters. It's not just ultimate free will. So it was pretty interesting. But it goes along with what you were
100%
saying.
subscribe to that, except if you choose to do nothing, no thing. That's the only free will I think we have.
Did you see that quote I posted from the daily laws that I was reading, and it reminded me so much of you? It says all humanity's problems stem from a man not being able to sit alone in a room with himself or with his thoughts.
No, did you just post that on your Instagram?
It was just on a story a couple of days ago. Yeah,
yeah.
I was just reading it and I saw it, and I took a picture because you've just preached that quite a bit.
Riley S. Not a Sam Harris weirdo. I don't know what that means. I think Sam Harris was the guy that guy was pro-vaccine, pro-drugs, pro-injection. Same with the as soon as someone is too, I know that I'm immediately aware that they have no stillness. Zero stillness. There's no vaccines in stillness. The other guy too, the stoicism guy,
Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I mean, I don't know his work well enough to know he's a fraud. You know, I preach a lot of things that I'm not capable of pulling off myself, but I feel like I'm pretty transparent about that. But if you're preaching shit and you can't pull it off, but you're preaching that you do pull it off, what's he say about free will? I mean, I could just prove to you that you don't have free will in 45 seconds if you're interested. It's just prove it to you. You know, it's not. You don't even have to debate it. It's just so easy to prove to someone. Five FDA.
You do it every time you challenge somebody to not wear shoes.
Yeah, or just sit still.
Or sit still.
Sit still and die. I want you to go ahead and try it. Sit still and die. You can't even not have a response to that when I say it. You'll have a response to it. I promise you'll have a response to it. Not only can you not do it, you'll have an immediate defense for it because you don't have a free will.
Oh, shit. Fucking people up today.
Here's a good one. Michael McCoy, damn stuff on this podcast bores me. Another one of those great words. What is up today? What have I drawn to the show today? This guy, this is great. Here we go. Number 5.
American diet is based on lies constructed by for-profit industry to sell you cheap food, toxic food that leads you to taking drugs. I always say the food you eat will lead to the drugs you must take. That's why it's called the Food and Drug Administration.
Food and Drug Administration. Titus Unlimited, thank you for your words of wisdom. Number 6, let's check back in 5 years. Let's check back in 5 years.
Oh, God.
You know what this is?
Yeah. I swear some of these same things, like the algorithm has us pegged, just pop up in my shit all the time, too.
Brace yourself, people. Brace yourself. This is why you watch the show. Finally, 2 hours and 20 minutes in. You've seen this?
Yes.
Oh.
Just like yesterday, though. That's the funny part about it.
Yeah, someone sent this to me. Yeah, this is good. I want to check back with this lady in 5 years. Listen carefully. I don't know if we're going to play this twice. Maybe. Here we go.
Thing that all these women have going on. I mean, I don't knock women for feeling proud and for wanting to have, that girl power and holding things over him. But no, you've got to give it up, ladies. I please my man in every way. All the ways. Wake him up. He gets to nut. Before he leaves out the door, he's leaving empty nuts. At at work, I am calling him like, come outside, it's your lunch break. It's time for you to get your nut off. When he gets home, he's getting fed. He is getting another nut and one before bed, or two if he's lucky. That's it. That's a secret. I make sure that my man nuts at least 6 or 7 times a day. Proud thing that all these women have going.
If for some reason you did, let's say that you did, let's say you did do that. You how yeah, did Ryan Holiday do something very hypocritical? Yeah. How can you be a stoic and be pro-vaccine, pro-injection? It doesn't even
pro everything.
You're never sitting in stillness and watch something pass by that gets you to go take a injection. That's not how we started the show. It's about wisdom. What is wisdom? A wise character. There's no that person does not behave like that. You're not out there promoting a wise person isn't promoting the vaccine, and he's not against the vaccine. At best, he'd be promoting the truth. There is no wise person who's an anti-vaxxer or a pro-vaxxer. It doesn't work like that. In stillness, where there's wisdom and freedom, it's not like that. It's a place of non-action and infinite possibilities. And this guy is a fucking nut job. He's completely fucking lost his mind.
It was everything woke too. If it's just the vaccines, but it was like,
oh, he did. He went off the full woke deep end.
Dude, him and Ben.
There's
Bergeron.
no wisdom in woke people. There's no wisdom in there's no woke wise people. It doesn't work like that. That's not how wisdom. That's not. You're not free like that with those opinions. A wise person isn't concerned about fucking whether someone's racist or not. It doesn't work like that.
It was
That's
so
not
bad.
What freedom is.
It's the first 15 minutes is like them apologizing for being white and not knowing the role that they play.
Holy shit! Oh, is that the one with Ben Bergeron?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah.
And they're apologizing for the roles that they played. I bet you Ryan is awesome. He was one of my favorite authors.
Crystal Gaston, I work for Ryan Holiday. He's awesome. He's a fucking bad human being. I'll tell you that.
It was just like not the response you wanted.
He fell asleep at the wheel. Then Crystal, he fell asleep at the wheel. But I appreciate it. I appreciate your smile. What if everyone had profile pictures like that? Don't you just feel good looking at her?
Yeah, like the energy coming off her icon photo.
Yeah,
it's a good vibe.
Does she ultimately hold the? Does she ultimately hold the power in that relationship? I mean, dude, the thing is if you're in a relationship like that, let's say you're 18 years old and you meet that lady, your life is never the same. That could be a whole show. I would love to interview her and then the guy she dates. I mean, would I don't have anything negative to say about it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Do you even think that's real though? You think
she's just extracting ejaculations off her dude all day?
But it's a full-time job, bro. Like, how does she work?
It's crazy. It's just, I would just like to know what it does. Like, do you just completely not fuck around anymore? I mean, are you just completely like God, I don't even know how to explore that. That needs its own show. Maybe I should save that clip and show that later. I need to be in a certain state of mind to explore that.
Let's get her on the podcast.
It's one thing to like have a woman or mate that will accommodate you, right? You know, it's 9 o'clock at night, you want a bone, or you wake up and you want a bone, but just someone who's just like consciously taking nuts off you.
Showing up at your work, bro.
Yeah. Just it's
come outside. I'm in the parking lot. I don't want to get out here. I need my feeding.
It's the getting up, getting dressed, getting in your car, driving to the hospital, having someone put a needle in you and push a drug into you, it's your choice. Getting up, going to the putting your clothes on, swinging by Starbucks, getting coffee, getting a tattoo, it's your choice. Getting up, getting coffee, driving to getting your ear pierced, your choice. Getting up, going to a brothel, paying someone to have sex with you, your choice. These are all things that are your choice.
Mm-hmm.
They all require a story that you have to tell yourself to go down that way, to move. And then the second you when you stop watching the story is when you start living the story, right? So if you're watching the story, you're not living the story. You're just watching the story. You're in stillness.
I'm an observer of it.
Observer. I have an itch on my head. I need to get up and take my kids to school. It's all just the same horse shit, just everywhere, right? And then there's bodily sensations that come along with those thoughts and those sensations.
Mm-hmm.
And as you become a practitioner of watching that, you become better at what stories you want to choose or act on. But you still get swept away by some, right? You scratch your head, like, I'm trying not to say the F word, but I can't, and it's coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see it. I reacted to something that caused that to come out, and then I see it at the same time the audience sees it. And so you have something as intense as taking an injection from Pfizer. It's the cobra in the room. You can't take your eyes off of it. You would be insane if I threw a cobra into a room and you didn't stop what you were doing. You're like, oh, honey, no nut right now. I have to watch the cobra. No matter what was on the table, when someone throws the cobra into your room, you have to watch the cobra. And if you don't, you're crazy. And eventually, you will have maybe so much fear, so much anxiety, or something that you'll do something drastic. I don't know what that would be. You try to attack the cobra. You make a calculated risk. You try to stick to the ceiling. You kill yourself. I don't know what actions you do. But that injection, what we just went through, same with like 9/11. That was a sweep of unconsciousness came over the United States of America. You just felt it, and that injection was intense. And so for someone who's preaching, Deepak did the same thing. Chopra did the same thing. Fell asleep at the wheel. Marianne Williamson fell asleep at the wheel. You know who didn't fall asleep at the wheel is Eckhart Tolle. He called it the so-called pandemic. Everything is the so-called. That's what you want the wise guru to say. The wise guru is not like...
It's not subscribing to it.
No.
It's observing it.
It's observing it, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really scary. And that's what makes these people so dangerous that you hold up on a pedestal, because someone like that then all of a sudden starts telling you Ben Bergeron's putting masks and plastic up in his gyms, and this guy's fucking telling you to get the injection, and all of a sudden you're listening because you think that you believe that they've pulled this from the ether, from their stillness, but it's it's still my feet. I'm standing by for Ryan Holiday to admit he fell asleep at the wheel. It happens, but you have to admit it. Yeah, and you know what? It's fair you say that. As I have different waning and waxing feelings about him because you're right. It is okay that people fall asleep at the wheel. It happens to everyone. Hopefully when you wake up, you would course correct and apologize. I don't follow him to know if he did do that, but I mean, that lady, Marianne Williamson, she wrote like that book, Course in Miracles, which is an amazing book, but she locked herself in a fucking house for like a year because she was afraid of COVID. I mean, these types of things are just perpetuating some insanity that does not exist in stillness. You've just been swept by a story, and now you're just repeating the story.
Mm-hmm.
Contemplating whether I should skip neuropsychoanalysis lecture I drove 4 hours for or listen to Sevon.
What's up, Tony?
Wow.
He worked out at the gym yesterday.
Neuropsycho. No, do that. Do the neuropsychoanalysis and then tell us about it. Catholic bishops resisted the vaccine too.
Oh, and the icon photo. We have all fallen asleep at the wheel.
I don't even know what that means. Sorry. I want to answer you, but I don't understand the question.
Considering feminism and women's equality.
So falling asleep at the wheel, it's so tricky, right? People think that they're doing good when they're doing bad. Like we don't even really know what good is. The example I've used a million times is snails crossing the road. You pick the snail up because you don't want it to get run over. You put it back in the bushes. In the bushes you sat it in, there was poison, and your intentions of doing good killed the snail. There's another great story. Two monks are walking out in the woods. They pull up to a stream, and there's a woman there, and she can't cross the stream, or she doesn't want to cross the stream because it's wet. One of the monks says, "Ma'am, would you like me to carry you across the stream?" The lady says yes. He carries the lady across the stream. 20 minutes pass, and the one monk says to the other monk, hey, you weren't supposed to carry that lady. We're not allowed to touch women. You weren't supposed to carry that lady across the stream. And the monk looks at the other monk. He goes, well, then put her down. Meaning he's still holding on to that thought. It's gone. It's done. It's gone. You're still holding on to that thought. Like you're still. The thing with women more and more, that I'm going more and more, maybe I'm late to the party, but it's like, I don't care what women or men do. Just everyone should have fun, do what you want to do, enjoy your life. But I do think that women are misguided who are guided away from things that they intuitively know. I think if you want to fucking run, if you want to be the CEO of fucking GM, and you're a woman, good on you. Like, don't think it should matter whether you're a man or a woman. But if for some reason someone is misguiding you from your biological calling, and you have this beautiful ability to make kids, and they're putting like some sort of, it's like this. There's a big bucket of cotton candy, and we all know it tastes better than the chicken over here. But we don't eat the cotton candy. We eat the chicken. It's like, yeah, being the CEO of GM might be great. That's the cotton candy. But your calling and what gives you the best outcome at the end of the day is eating the chicken. And that would be probably finding a mate and falling in love and building a trusting relationship and have a kid and a family and go through that process that you're biologically created to do. And the other way is not what your biology, that those are just man-made. And there's nothing wrong with man-made. Sorry, I know that's word fuckery. Let me see if I can give you something better.
Society created.
Yeah, that's kind of fuckery too. It's just we have these biological. I mean, shoes are the other perfect example. People have a litany of reasons why they wear shoes. Look at even extra sloppy nose. Dave's hot chicken. That shit's the crack. So I just don't want. But it's okay if you choose the cotton candy. But it's just this preaching that the cotton candy is the better way to go, and that is just not true. And then doing it under the guise of this collective. Well, that's what women should do, and you're being held down if you don't do that, and that's the only way where strong women exist. And now you're fucking women. It's like literally it's the same as telling everyone that you're fucking stupid for walking everywhere because we have electric wheelchairs. Why are you still walking? Do you know when I was a little kid, I wanted one of those handicap carts so bad? And I wrote to I had this magazine. It was called like Boys Life Magazine. This is way before the internet. And in the back, they had these carts, these 3-wheel carts that like, you know, the handicapped people would ride in. This was before they were for obese people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote to that company saying, hey, can I get one of your catalogs? And they sent me that catalog to my mom's house. I was probably like in the 5th grade. And I would get that catalog every quarter and I'd flip through it and I would just picture myself driving one of those things. Thank God I didn't ever end up in one, right?
Yeah, it's just funny because like not a go-kart or anything.
No, I
It's
wanted
like,
the Tardmobile, the full fucking obese. I'm fucking shopping and fucking now they're everywhere. Yes. And I remember, do you remember being a little kid and the first time you see one of those like at Home Depot or something, you're like, fuck, I want to drive that. You have no fucking clue that it's just for fat motherfuckers. Caller, hi.
So I think you're almost there.
Thank you.
Until you give people the out to say, oh, it's okay to choose the cotton candy. That to me is the cop out.
Okay.
It's the ultimate cop out to the kind of ideology that's infecting the world. And there was a caller.
Okay. Let me say this then, Will. But if I'm gonna agree with you. I agree with you. It's wrong. Okay, I totally 100% agree with you. Let me play a little word game with you. You're right. It's not okay to choose the cotton candy. But does that mean we stop them from choosing the cotton candy? I guess that's more what I mean specifically.
It means we make the choice for chicken and steak the easy, good one.
Okay.
And there was a caller yesterday who, the government's not there to support the people. The government's there to get. I mean, to be a libertarian is to be a loser.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh yeah. To be in because it is the agreement for unilateral surrender, because the left, they serve their constituents. They serve the people who vote for them.
Okay, so this is the good and evil thing. You're saying just let both exist and transcend both, and you're saying you can't. You have to choose good or evil.
Exactly. There are no neutral systems. There are no neutral systems in the world. So our system, the government, the economy, should exist to promote what is virtuous and what is good. Because there will never be a world where it is an even playing field for choice to thrive.
I think that's the problem,
because I think we're seeing the fruits of that.
I think that's the problem. I think we are living in a world of good and bad, and what's happened, or good and evil. And what's happened is that we've lost our compass. And that's one of the fucking drawbacks of living in a world like that, right? To what's good today, it's back to the snail thing. It's why the Democrats would say we have to do good and keep the slaves. Because if we set them free, they'll hurt themselves. They're too retarded to take care of themselves. They did that under the guise of being good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get worried. I hear you and I want to believe it, but what happens when the script gets flipped?
I mean that's the problem. Evil starts winning, and the answer to slavery is not choice or economic freedom. The answer to slavery was the will of the good, even by force of war, if necessary, to change. It was not some sort of democratic system that eventually, where the market led to the dissolution of slavery. No, it was the conquest of the people who wanted to enslave a portion of the population. And so to me, that's the perfect case in point of what I'm talking about. There comes a time where certain choices in life are so bad that they should be crushed by any means necessary. And I'm not saying that for like women working outside the home, but I do think we should live in a society where a woman doesn't feel like she has to go work as a consultant making widgets instead of raising her children.
Or being mid-level management at Apple.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Where that sounds disgusting. Will, I have to. I appreciate you calling. Thank you. You're so smart.
Take care, guys.
Yep. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back in 55 seconds.
What is with this guy?
If Howard Stern and Joe Rogan had a baby, you'd be looking at him. Remember, the people were live, so don't start picking your nose or pull your dick out or anything crazy like that. And this is why this is the greatest show on the internet, because there's a comment here that says a lot of pre-cum. And then right after, there's a comment that says it's so sad. Let's go back to hand jobs.
people without their names and they
No one clip that and play that on the internet.
A thumb with a mustache. Yes. A thumb. Listen, a guy named Johan Lopez called you a thumb with a mustache. Wow.
I'm gonna shit myself.
Man, that Sevon podcast is dull as shit.
Okay, you guys have a great day.
Okay.
You too. Thanks for calling.
Mwah.
No.
I was feeling familial, like it was my mom I was talking to.
Oh, missed the cue. Not back in the 55 seconds. The one thing that I think is interesting about with the last caller was that he was saying it was good, and then we need to protect good, and in some cases extreme with war, therefore making that bad. So it's always hard to say like there's a good and there's an evil, because like Sevon was saying, at some point the script could get flipped. So rather than viewing things as good or evil, because then you have to be better than to be the good person, right? Protecting everybody from the evil, that I don't know if that's true. I think there's more so just trade-offs and outcomes. So you look at like what is the trade-off and then what is the outcome. You only missed it by a few seconds, but I just started rolling.
I dropped a deuce. That's the first time I've ever dropped
No,
a deuce
you
in the
did
history of
not.
the show. Yes.
That was record speed.
That was the first time in the history.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I was just thinking the other day, I was like, hey, wow, I've never dropped a deuce during the show.
Dude, that was I just thought you were peeing for a while and just missed it.
Forgot about you?
No, but I was just like, oh, it took an extra minute. So I just started talking about that last caller.
He called it. Turntable. Absolutely, it was market force which led to the abolition of slavery. The North opposed slavery more for economic than idealistic reasons. Lincoln even said he didn't consider blacks equal. You know what's interesting? What I'm reading is that it wasn't just the blacks that they didn't think were equal. They didn't think anyone in these certain vocations were equal. And so the South was also proposing to the North, hey, let us come up there, let us bring our slaves up there, and we'll also start to enslave the whites. And what we'll do is we'll just take care of these people. It's the total Klaus Schwab model. You'll own nothing and you'll like it.
Now, is that good? Are we the good guys in that scenario? Are we the bad guys in that scenario?
By the way, you don't have to dig deep for that, people. Just go type in 1850 slavery, Southern Democrats, and then just start. They're not. You can go to. They're not even like right-wing conspiracy sites. It's just like historical sites. You can just go to all these sites with just all the historical speeches and start reading them. The consensus is that there was a class of people who couldn't take care of themselves. Yeah, and I hadn't heard that Lincoln said that they were inferior, but I have no doubt that it was wasn't for economic reasons. I haven't come across that yet, but I have no doubt, right? I mean, this slavery was definitely for economic reasons, and there were very few people who owned slaves. By the way, very few. It was 1% of the between 3% of the Southerners owned slaves. Slavery violates the Bill of Rights. There are several enumerated rights which the federal government is obligated to protect. The rest are left to the states and the people. You're obviously brilliant. Should certain states be allowed to have slaves so that the principle of federalism can be protected? Wow. Wow. No shower. Just dropped a deuce. I pretty much shit unicorn shits. It's kind of crazy. I have a great fuck. My shit's just so tight. Runs so good. Lydia, my grandfather was a sharecropper. So was Greg's dad. I wonder what state you're from. Sorry. So is Greg's granddad and his uncles, and they were dirt poor. My grandfather had to pick cotton and would get beat if they didn't meet the quota. Yeah, man. Greg has some crazy stories of his family and how they had to save money and all this shit to buy land and the whole sharecropper shit. Slaves weren't considered people, so they weren't covered by the Bill of Rights. I wonder if I need to keep looking into this. Unpaid internships are slavery.
Well, you're voluntarily there, so you can leave. I don't think you could have left you can't left the plantation.
God, slavery is just fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but they the thing is it's going on today, but it's just clothed. It's just clothed differently.
Mm-hmm. It's just dressed up different. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's harsh. Sorry, podcast. Doing podcast.
Did Lydia change her profile picture from her cropped out ex to her like eating some sort of burrito?
Oh, that's the same girl?
I don't know if it's the same one. I can't remember if it was spelled differently.
Alabama, no shit. Yeah, that's where Greg's from. Greg Glassman. Yeah, that's his roots. Alabama. That looks like a totally different girl. That girl doesn't.
It is
Lydia,
her.
It is her.
Yeah,
I really like that picture of you. What is that? Is that one of those giant like turkey legs somewhere?
That's exactly what it is.
God, that's a great photo of you. Look at you. Look like you got a big old hot head too. Do you have a giant head? Right?
I mean, for that angle, yeah, it looks kind of like it could be a big head in a good way, Lydia, in a good way.
Yeah, big heads are great. I've heard it argued that the northern states wanted to levy higher taxes against the southern states for their lack of implementing industrial processes, and that's what ultimately led to the war. I use the turkey leg for scale. Then your head's not that big.
Yeah, there's a little perspective. It's in the foreground, you're in the background, so we need like a hold up like this.
Number 7, dads. Dude, I saw something so crazy the other day. So I saw something posted about Hunter Biden, Ashley Biden's diary on Instagram, and it's on David Harris's Instagram account, and I really don't want to show you guys because I don't know if it's true. But then so I started Googling around looking for Ashley Biden's diary, and there's a fucking copy of it online. You can just look at it, and I don't even know if that's the real diary, but someone has fucking made it's actual pictures of the pages with the writing.
No shit.
And I went to this. There's a claim that she says in there. There's a claim someone is posting on Instagram that she only showered at night to avoid her dad climbing in the shower with her.
No.
And it says it's on page 67 and 68 of the diary. So I went to page 67 and 68 of the diary, and it wasn't there. So maybe it's not the real diary. Maybe that post is not real. Maybe they're both not real. But fuck, it made my skin crawl. But the account that posted this has like 1.5 million followers.
Yeah, but
you know who it is? David J. Harris, the black guy.
Yeah.
You see that post? Anyway, you don't have to bring it up. Play this guy.
Okay.
Anyway, it kind of rocked my world. That would be fucking disgusting.
Here we go.
If you have a daughter, you're her first and most important male relationship, and she'll compare every future relationship with you. So please be a loving, providing, and physically strong dad. Embrace your daughter's feminine energy and give her an example of the best man. Set the standard so high that no simp or man complaining about toxic femininity is ever an option because they can't even come close to dad's competence, intellect, and love. Make your daughters become and deserve the best. Let me know your thoughts below. Dads, if you...
There's another good one too. Let me see if I can. That one's good. I like that one. There's another great one too. That's why in the beginning of the show I showed this article in Philadelphia where they were paying people $1,000 if you have a kid. $1,000 a month if you have a kid for the for the last 6 months of pregnancy and the first year of the kid's life. I'm like, dude, why are you doing that? Why are you incentivizing people to have kids?
Weird.
Oh, 514. 514. Completely on the other end of the chart. I like the way this lady says this. This is so good.
I like her hat.
Yeah, she's great. I tried to find her. I kind of want to. I would love to have this lady on the show. Here we go.
When you speak life into your daughter, the confidence that she has, the belief that she has in herself is unmatched. So if you have not been there for her or your son, but I'm a woman, I'm talking about your daughter, it's never too late. Speak life into her, spend time with her. Even if it's a distance, call her, FaceTime her, because when we have a father in our lives that loves us, we are set apart. It's obvious. You know, every man tells me, I can tell you've been raised by your dad, right?
It's a clear difference.
It's a clear difference. I love y'all. I love myself because my father told me that when a man tells me I'm beautiful or sexy or fine, that's cool. But my dad already told me that. I know that. So I'm not sleeping with you because you told me I'm fine or you buy me something. You know, you understand? My dad provided everything that I needed. So y'all, please, the role of a father is beyond important for your sons and your daughters. So please be there for them. It is a game changer.
Jocelyn Strong, do you believe mothers have a similar responsibility to their sons, and what does that look like? You know, it's funny you say that. I'm embarrassed to say this. I never even thought of that when I saw that, but 100%. As soon as I read what you said, I was like, oh man, embarrassed isn't the right word. I'm not embarrassed. I'm bummed that I didn't think of it. My mom crazy believed in me, and my wife crazy believes in me. And I must have got that. I must have found a woman who crazy believes in me, because my mom crazy believed in me. My mom loved me so much and believed in me. My whole family did. I felt so loved. Maybe that's why I found Sousa, because Sousa loves me and my dad loved me. Maybe I'm just attracted to people who love me. But yeah, I was surrounded by love growing up. And my mom believed in me so fucking much. And my wife is just like, yeah, I believe. My wife's just like full believes in me. Like, doesn't matter. Like, she just got my back. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I have to assume my mom imprinted that on me to search for that, to just support me, to be there for me. My mom was just always there for me. Always there for me. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think it's also too what's like rewarded, right? So like I remember I never got like the best like grades ever, right? My report cards always went missing, but like
got beaten for bad grades.
When we would go and my parents would take us to like different parties or stuff, and my mom would see me like come over, and like the one kid that everybody was kind of like not really playing with, they're just kind of off to the side. Like I'd be like, oh, Sevan, like why don't you come over here with us and like kind of bridge the gap? And we would get in the car and she would just celebrate that. It was like, hey, I saw what you did over there. Way to be a leader and like include everybody in that group. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then my dad kind of would balance it out. He's like, oh, you know, Tony's boy. Yeah, that kid's fucking weird. But yeah, that's nice that you guys are cool with it.
That's what I would say too if my wife said that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, good job. That kid fucking drools on himself. Good job, boys.
Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Yeah. It was kind of like a nod. But my mom like would celebrate that stuff and wouldn't, you know, just down my confidence when the grades would come back and they would not be the best, you know? So it was just the power of belief and like what you placing the emphasis on. Like I was a good human and I knew how to work in a social situation really well. And she would celebrate that. And so you attract to people like that.
And on the other hand, this isn't to dig at my mom. My mom believed that I should get good grades, and she believed I could get good grades, but I needed help. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Shit had gone sideways for me in terms of my academics, and her belief in me ended up not being a belief in me. It ended up being torture for me. I couldn't get out of relative torture. I just got bad grades and was just always fucking grounded. No, but every fucking quarter I would try my hardest, and then 3 weeks in I'd be so far behind I just couldn't keep up intellectually with the rest of the kids, with the school, with none of that. And then but my mom believed I could, so she should have let that belief go, or she should have found a solution for me in that regard. That's kind of like, I guess, the double-sided
the double-edged sword there, right? Yeah, because that belief kind of does turn into a pressure.
Yeah, there's a fine line between believing in someone and
why would you say
pressuring them?
And why would you say you were bad at school? Was it like you didn't comprehend the material, you didn't pay attention, didn't find it important? Like why was that?
Because I was but I had no fucking peer until the 3rd grade. None. No one even close. My vocabulary, my social interactions, my math skills, nothing. I was in a fucking hole. I went to this crazy white trash school. You know what I mean? Like the teachers like smoking outside the classroom and shit. People, my neighborhood, like dudes would just, my mom and I would be out in the front yard and dudes would just ride across our lawn with a motorcycle. Neighbor across the street was a cocaine trafficker, got arrested. I mean, just crazy shit. Just fucking gnarly shit.
Yeah.
Neighbors fighting with chainsaws, my sister beating up people to protect me. It was just a fucking shithole, the crazy white trash neighborhood. And so it was easy to be the smartest kid. That was my point. And at my school. But by the time I had gotten to the for 2nd and 3rd grade, I was just bored. I wasn't bored. I wasn't tested. So I created my own entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Pencil fighting, sharpening pencils, spit wads, talking to the teacher, being teacher's pet, trying to kiss girls, throwing rocks. I mean, just like all the, you know what I mean? Like I just filled my days.
Yeah.
And then the 4th grade came and I started falling behind a little.
Mm.
And then the 5th grade came. And in those years, I didn't learn any skills of learning and cultivating wisdom. And then I just, all of a sudden I fell behind and then I couldn't keep up.
You didn't get held back? Did you get held back your grade?
No.
You were just able to like keep moving.
Yes,
the train
yes.
down.
And there was this talk. You know what they should? There was this talk. There was this Asian girl that was the smartest kid in the school too, or in this grade, my peer group. And God, I wish I could remember her name. All the Asian kids from my school were like from different countries. There was like only 5 of them. Anyway, they skipped her up a grade, and I remember going up to Mrs. Thompson, and I'm like, Mrs. Thompson, Lu Sing Choi Ling Wao Lu Hung Loi Ching skipped a grade, and like you got to skip me too. like I can do. I remember telling her that I can do everything she can do. Like what the fuck? Let's go. I loved competing with her.
Oh, that's cool.
And there was I think what it ended up being, there was like a maturity piece that she had that they didn't think I had.
Mm-hmm. She wasn't doing spit wads.
Probably not. And so yeah, right. She was cool. I liked her. I always sat by her. Ling Ling, yeah. We call her Ling Ling for short. Yeah, it was so much work saying her whole name. That showed just how smart I was because I could always say her whole full name.
Cultured.
Yeah. So and then so I just fell behind. And my whole life, everyone's like, oh my, like that whole, my first 10 years of my life, everyone's like, holy fuck, you're smart. Everywhere I went, I just remember hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I wasn't. Dumber than a box of rocks.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah. All of a sudden I was dumb. Yeah, once you fall behind, you're fucked. Oh no, we already did that. Darn it, man. My shit is like so not up to date.
Yeah, but we hammered a bunch of them today.
Going through and just trying to erase ones. This one's harsh. John Hopkins psychiatrist Dr. Paul R. McHugh in 2020 said that transgender is a mental disorder because it's biologically impossible. The distinguished service professor of psychiatry said that transgenderism is a mental disorder that merits treatment, that sex change is biologically impossible, and that people who promote sexual reassignment surgery are collaborating with and promoting a mental disorder. Isn't that like so obvious?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. McHugh, the author of 6 books and at least 125 peer-reviewed medical articles, made his remarks in a recent commentary in the Wall Street Journal, where he explained that transgender surgery is not the solution for people who suffered a disorder of assumption, the notion that their maleness or femaleness is different than what the nature has assigned them biologically. He also reported a new study showing that the suicide rate among transgender people who had reassigned surgery is 20 times higher than the suicide rate among non-transgender. Dr. McHugh further noted studies from Vanderbilt University and London's Portman Clinic of children who had expressed transgender feelings, whatever that means, but for whom over time 70 to 80% spontaneously lost those feelings. Do you guys understand that too? think about I think about the crazy shit that I used to think about when I was little versus now. It's like not even the same person.
Right.
Think of the things that mattered to you when you were 17 versus now.
Oh God, yeah.
Your whole day's ruined because someone carded you over buying a can of spray paint and you can't get it. And so you're willing to go into Home Depot and steal spray paint. You're fucking out of your mind.
Right. To go do other illegal activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Nothing.
Not-
You're 17. Nothing.
Not thought through. Yeah. Not
Nothing.
thought through.
Holy shit, dude. I didn't choose this clip, but I saw a clip yesterday, and I just couldn't bring myself to show you guys. It's a 13-year-old transgender. It's a boy who's now a girl dancing like in a strip club.
Oh, God.
And you just want to fucking throw up.
Dude, that's crazy.
I don't even understand. But if California wants to let kids do sex changes, let them, right? Because it's federalism. I don't know what federalism is. Do you know what that is?
No, not enough to get in the conversation with Lynx and Tom over there. I don't know what they were talking about from before, but apparently they're getting into some debate about it.
Yeah, you can't. That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you can't let you can't do that. We can't do that and like claim. We can't be like part of a civilized society and be doing that. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel that way about the death penalty. I think I feel that way now about abortion. You can't kill. You got to protect some shit. You got to protect kids, and you can't kill people for a variety of reasons. You can't kill people.
Can you be a good guy and still kill people? Or by definition, now are you a bad guy? Or does context create the good or the bad? And then so therefore, without context, there is no good or bad?
I think you have to agree on some imaginary shit. Like we have to agree on property rights. We have to draw lines and be like, this is mine and this is yours. Maybe I'm just closed-minded, but I think you have to do that because I think that's what brings out the best in human beings and allows us to evolve. I think that's why we have like rocket ships and electric can openers and stuff like that, because we leverage people's egos and creativity. And then I think we have to agree on some shit like that, some imaginary shit. And then once we agree on that, yeah, then everything, like you said, I think is right. You go into context, and we have to just, it's not going to be perfect, but we have to do our best. You walked into my property drunk in the middle of the night, and I found you in my daughter's room, and I fucking shot you. I mean, like,
no one's gonna agree that you're the bad guy, right?
I'm not for killing, but I'm not taking the other guy's life. I'm not putting that other guy in jail. Yeah, this is it right here. This is exactly it. This is my life. When I was 17, I only wanted to smoke weed and throw things. Yeah, me too. And sometimes throwing balls, other times throwing Molotov cocktails. At grain silos. Yeah, all that. Yeah. I'd throw some. I wanted to, like, at 17, I probably was like wanted to take a girl's bra off or something. I just wanted a girl to talk to me. It was so fun. There's so many of us just nice boys out there.
Such a nice boy.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, if a girl would just talk to me, like walk home with me, I would be like, fuck. I'd write her name on my school book. What number is this? This one's good. Speaking of girls, 510, the importance of paying attention. 510, the importance of paying attention.
Situational awareness is key, huh?
Yeah, huge. Just pay attention. This one we can watch like 3 times. Here we go. I can see clear. I love the sound effect. So what happened? She wanted a pack of cigarettes and she walked by this place or something. There's so much to look at here. Like look at her friends. Boom. Look at the girl in the next to her to the right is like in black is lumbering. She's so big. Look how she moves. She's lumbering. Look at wow,
Oh,
that chick's
yeah.
gait is massive.
That's like a Sasquatch walk by,
Yeah,
huh?
that
That's a
gait is
Bigfoot walk.
massive.
Look at that.
Hey, dude, if you're a guy and you're there, you walk over and help her immediately and get her phone number. Dude, look how she falls down even.
Yeah, defeated.
Yeah, just defeated. Boom. Hey, doesn't drop the cell phone, though.
Never.
It's like, you know when they don't drop the beer in the fights?
Yeah. Never drop the cell phone.
Man.
That's funny.
Holy shit, listen to this. This is crazy. We used to set shopping carts on the railroad tracks full of rocks in El Monte and wait to see the train hit it. Dude, that sounds so fun. Oh my God, that sounds so fun.
Yeah, I knew a group of kids that did that with a shopping cart full of 2-liter sodas. Because like where we're at, there's Safeways up in front. There's a railroad track really close. So they just loaded it up and then just ran with it out the store. And then ran with it over the railroad track. There's probably like a couple bottles of alcohol hidden in there, right? So you steal that. It's like, well, what are we gonna do with all this extra crap? Pushing on the railroad track. And if we just have those fast freight trains that come through, there's no real train stops.
Did you ever see it happen?
No, but we showed up during the aftermath. That's how I knew it happened. And the shopping cart was in like bits, like this big, and it was just the only thing left was the metal frame all tangled up, and there was just soda. And remember those home run pies? They're popping in the Bay Area.
Yes.
They were loaded up with those home run pies.
Yes.
And we just thought it was
God, talk about some nasty shit.
Yeah, it's even nastier when your buddy Jake just goes over and finds the ones that like weren't opened and pockets a bunch and then starts eating them on your and you're like
I wonder if I would love to get a train conductor on the show and interview them. They must see all sorts of crazy shit. They must hit shit all the time.
Yeah. And in those train yards and stuff like that too, you'd see some weird stuff in those train yards.
Clock. You don't know what federalism is? ? I don't. It's the division of power between the U.S. and the states. Power in the U.S. is federated between national and state sources. Basic civics math, man. Oh, then maybe I did know what it was. And that's determined by the Constitution. That's like the whole abortion thing. Like it should have never been, that power should have, it's not that they made, recently when they overturned Roe versus Wade, it's not that they made abortion illegal. They just took the authority away from the federal government. So that's what federalism is.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just say so, man?
Why
didn't you just say so, man?
Did you ever notice that clock is at 7 o'clock, which was the premium time for starting the show? I wonder if that's a coincidence.
Or because 7-on-7?
Oh, that's probably more likely. Your guess is probably more correct than mine.
I'm gonna guess it's just all a coincidence.
There are no coincidences.
Yes. Okay, 5:20. I've never in my life bought. I've done some dumb things. Don't get me wrong. I've never bought a Cheez-It in my life. I've never spent any of my money on a Cheez-It ever. Ever. I can't imagine going to the store and buying those. I went in and bought a shitload of saltines the other day, just so my kids and I could fling them, feed them to seagulls. Okay, here we go. This is woke logic, liberal logic here, liberal logic.
Okay, let me explain. So they took Auntie J off her own box of pancake mix because it was racist to have a black woman on a box of food. But it's not racist to have a black man dressed as a woman doing woman face on a box of food. This is RuPaul on a box of Cheez-Its. Okay.
Shit begets shit.
Woman face.
I know, that's good, right? Goldfish, nope. I've never bought goldfish either. I think my wife one time bought the boys goldfish for the beach, but she didn't buy the goldfish brand. She bought something that was like Whole Foods sold or something that was probably the same shit, but just in a brown package, so you think it's cool.
We bought all the kid tested, mom approved items.
Yes.
Who was that? What? Whose slogan was that?
I think that was like a General Mills maybe or something, but it just reminded me of a goldfish. But I don't know if it had to do with the goldfish.
No, I've eaten goldfish. I just have never bought them. I actually enjoyed as a kid putting the goldfish in my mouth and then biting them in half so it like falls. Like I would bite them on the seam so it falls in half like a Do you know that feeling when you do that? And then like a sunflower seed.
Mm.
But I never bought that shit. I just can't imagine. Like it's not like they even taste good.
The goldfish?
Yeah, or the cheeses. I mean, they don't taste bad, but it's just like
a lot of those are like vehicle for salt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Exactly.
Just some crunchy, some with texture, but it's just a lot of salt. Then as you're eating it, you're like realizing that all you want is like the real salty one. And then you like eat for a little bit longer to find that like goldfish or, the chip that's like extra salty.
Yeah, yeah. Or just eating the shit at the bottom of the bag. Is that what you said?
Yeah, or like, just pour it. Yeah. Yep.
Number 527. This is what do you think should happen here? Do you take this wheelchair away from this guy? Look how dangerous. What I'm about to show you is crazy dangerous.
I just love that opening.
What do you do? So I'm going to paint the picture. There's a guy here in a wheelchair. We'll watch this a couple times.
Okay.
But there's a guy in a wheelchair. It's at the Goodwill. I think it's a guy. I have no idea, actually, if it's a man or a woman. But this is just grandma kicked it into high gear. This is just crazy. Look at the lady over there getting smashed. Look at that lady getting smashed. Hey, dude, that could have broken that lady's hip. That's nuts, right? So it's like a 400-pound person, 300-pound person in a wheelchair who demolishes a.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like what do you do? Can you revoke the electric wheelchair license?
Well, if you watch, both of the person's hands come up. So I don't, look like it might have got stuck or there is some sort of issue with the wheelchair, right? Like they're not on it. They didn't mistake gas for brake there.
Or like their shirt got caught on the throttle.
Could be. Or the bodily part, little hangover, lock that thing down.
I just feel sorry for that lady who gets smashed between the carts and then she goes down.
And you notice the worker just cruised by too.
No, really?
Okay, so watch it again. Watch the top screen where the wheelchair person starts. Watch for the person in the blue vest, which I'm going to assume is the worker. Right here, and walks on by.
Yeah, where's he going?
He's like, somebody in the comments said he's on break. He's like, I'm on break, guys. This is someone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway, you guys want to watch one more of those? Here you go. Here's another one. This is a school bus. I don't know what year. Oh, this says 2012. This is number 524, child on bus. This is in 2012. You're going to see it only takes one smart person. It only takes one person to help. This kid probably saved, I don't know, 10 kids' lives from dying. Maybe if they would have hit something, maybe more.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god! He's on his mission.
Look at none of the other kids are even helping. They're frozen. Starts chest compression on him, and then look at this kid is the one who actually goes back and gets his cell phone too. Same kid does it all.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
Dude, that's nuts.
Mm-hmm. That's a kind of that situation where people just get like frozen and they're unsure if they should do something or not do something.
Look at people are yelling, "Stop the bus!" Man.
Yeah, that's it. Kind of goes back to what you were saying when I first came on. Like, if you see somebody, like you think they're beating their kid, like, do you intervene? Do you not intervene? Like, what's the right thing to do in that scenario? And a lot of people just get frozen. Like, if you see a scene like that or something, because it happens so fast, and like your mind is
Yeah.
kind of like, is this really happening? And then as the time it's processing that, you're going, should I stick my neck out there and then do something about this?
Turns out that kid is actually 30 years old and part of 21 Jump Street. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with me this morning. Slow start. Susan came, saved the day. Third 6 a.m. show in a row.
Yeah.
Thought I'd try it out. Ooh, that was early.
Oh boy.
Oh, no, I will. Someone texts me, nobody knows what good or evil is. Someone's garbage is another man's treasure. Someone's evil is another man's good.
Mm-hmm. Was that Will guy the same one that called the other day and was like, tried to explain objective truth and said that I like whatever he started? He's like, Susan, I love the guy, but, and then went into the objective truth argument.
That was the guy, Will, who said
Was
it?
it? No, I was asking.
Oh, I
you.
don't know. I don't know. Sevon, I have good news before you go. Okay, I'm ready. How do you hold up throughout the day? Basically, I'll nap at some point. I broke the 30-pound loss this past week, 31.5 pounds so far. I ran a 5K this morning for the first time since 2020. Damn, dude. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Nice work.
David Weed, don't let Dan and 12 doses bully you, son. Well, thank you.
Little words of encouragement.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Good job.
Yeah.
I'd like to lose 30 pounds. I'd like to get all emaciated.
One of the listeners of the show all the time, that her mom, and she used to be a member of the gym, she lost over more than 100 pounds now. And she attributes a ton of it to like listening to the show when she would just start on her like walks. And she looks incredible now. She's just still crushing it.
She did attribute it to the show?
Yeah, she said that that's where she kind of started with it, would listen to it and just go on her morning walks, and was being encouraged by a lot of the stuff he would say and the personal responsibility factor. And she was already a hard worker and stuff like that, but she just really turned on like getting herself healthy and doing it for herself. And she's like 2 years or a year plus into this process, down 100 and some pounds.
God, that makes me happy.
It's nuts when you like look at it like on Instagram, when you like see her, you're like, holy smokes, like she is like killing it. Her mom calls you the F word guy.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah, because she's like, yeah, we watch the show. Victoria really likes it, but I call him the F word guy because he says the F word a lot.
The F word guy. Heidi Krum, if I lost 30 pounds, I'd be sickly.
Yeah, don't do that, Heidi.
My mother lost over 60 pounds when she did CrossFit with me for a year. So proud of her. Wow, lucky 23. I haven't seen that person post before.
That's cool. I've never seen that. There's been some new ones. There's been some new people for sure.
I'll do your macros. Who, Heidi's? See Heidi just gaunt. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you for sticking with me. David, okay, I won't get bullied. You guys are all great. Talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow? We don't have a show tonight. UFC tonight. Okay.